couple games down there. So, I mean, they're just, rewarding me. And, there's so many guys from the Marlies that could be up here right now. So I'm thankful they chose me.
How much can you lean on someone like Fraser, who's been through the experience most recently of making his debut and then also playing on the
Yeah, I just talked to him about the little things, like what to expect and stuff like that, and looking forward to playing with him. He's a great player, good two-way player, and makes plays, so hopefully we can do something tonight.
How well do you know Matthew Nyes? I know you guys are kind of going to be tied in history with the NCAA championship there.
Yeah, I mean, we trained together in the summer, and, I'm starting to get to know him a little bit, so that's past us at this point, so it doesn't matter now. We're teammates, so.
What's your perspective on this Battle of Ontario playing the Senators tonight?
It's going to be a hard-nosed game, and they're going to battle hard, but we're going to fight back, so it's going to be good.
The fact that Bobby played college with your brother years back, will you talk to Bobby about that, or what's it been like getting to know him a little bit?
Yeah, me and my brother and Bobby are good friends. Bobby asked me if my brother was coming out tonight, so it's good that my brother will be able to see him play too.
There he is, Jacob Quillen, NHL debut for the Leafs. So, Stu, take us back to yours. What was that like?
I forget. No, I'm kidding. So I actually almost made the Florida Panthers. I almost made it as an 18-year-old, and then I ended up going back. Then there was a lockout. Then I was in Rochester, and I actually had a pretty good start to the season. I believe I had 4 or 5 points in the first 3 games. And I was on the road, I believe, in Binghamton. And the funny part was Randy Cunningworth would just have a weird conversation with you and say, "Hey, so how do you think you're playing?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm playing pretty good." He'd be like, "Well, I've been talking to some people, and you've been playing so good that you're getting called up to the NHL." So it was almost like a game show in getting my call, and ended up getting on the road, flying into New Jersey. So my parents ended up not making that, but I think I had an assist my first game. I was playing with, I believe it was Stephen Weiss and Gary Roberts, and playing second line right away. And I scored, I think, the next game versus the Washington Capitals. So you always remember your first game, and the rookie lap. I botched the rookie lap. I thought they put some tape on my blade, so I didn't do my rookie lap properly. So I botched it, but it was a good game for me, as I had an assist, a first point in my first NHL game, and playing for the Florida Panthers definitely was an amazing memory that I still remember to this day.
Yeah, no, and that's a great reminiscence there. So Jacob Quillen will have that story to tell in a couple of hours. He's getting set for his NHL debut. We'll be back to set it up further. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Hear the NFL Conference Championship games on Sirius XM. Tomorrow at 3 Eastern, Jaden Daniels' Commanders face the Eagles in the NFC Championship.
Touchdown! Saquon Barkley!
Then at 6:30, it's the AFC Championship as Josh Allen's Bills take on the Chiefs.
An 11-yard touchdown! Playoff Pat to playoff Kelsey!
Find the channel numbers at SiriusXM.com/NFL schedule or search for the teams on the SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gore, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more.
What's up, hockey fans? How we doing tonight? It's Hockey Night in Canada, our favorite night of the week. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight and chatting it up, cheering on our Maple Leafs as we go for the win in the Battle of Ontario. Really appreciate every single one of you hitting that like button. As well, please share out this link. Let's get more hockey fans here in the chat to cheer on our buds and bounce back after that tough one against the Blue Jackets the other night. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Thanks for keeping it classy. Go Leafs, go. Let's get the win tonight.
Magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter. Haaland scores the hat-trick.
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
From in the crease to in the locker room.
Four Nations Team Canada
Face-off associate GM, Jim Nill, you as a manager view goaltending going into the tournament in February?
We're talking about two of the guys that won Stanley Cups and play in those type of pressure games. That's a pretty good resume to have. So we're pretty confident with it and pretty confident with the team that we're going to have playing in front of them.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Avalanche General Manager Chris McFarland. What went in to maybe change that duo in goal?
With the work of our scout, Wedgwood's experience, he was a veteran guy. He's been through the grind. We were very bullish on McKenzie, and when the opportunity came to add him, we just felt it was the right move for us, long term.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Leafs Game Night. Jim Taddy and former NHLer Anthony Stewart with you. Top of the hour, Bonesy and Ralphie take over. Stu, here's an interesting stat from our crack staff. The Leafs have allowed 6 power play goals in the last 4 games. And look at that Sens power play. Kachuk, Stützle, Batherson, Giroux, Sanderson. Yikes.
Are we painting a picture here, right? But again, this penalty kill was within the top 10 before that little shriek, and again, it was one of their strengths in them really holding down the fort when the power play was struggling. So again, there's only so many shots you can block. There's only so many times that you can kill off some not so great penalties. But I think it struggled a little bit as of late. But again, I think for them the best penalty kill is discipline. So going against a team that is very, very talented, and they have some guys that are waiting to break out and really start, contributing to the offense with Kachuk, who's got no goals and only and no points in his last 8 games too. Stützle has only got 5 points in his last 10 games. You really want to stay out of the penalty box and not give them the opportunity to really turn this thing around. So we know they have a good goaltender and hot goaltender in Merolainen, but for them, if I'm Toronto tonight, I'm just saying, stay out of the penalty box. Do not make this an easy game for them. And kill off, the 1 or 2 that, you hopefully only take.
So in just over 2 weeks, the Leafs have played, let's do some quick math here on the air, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, and have allowed 3 goals or more in each of those 8 games. That's tough, isn't it?
It is a bit tough, right? But, they did have 7 against Montreal. They did have 5 against Tampa Bay. They scored 4 against New Jersey, and they've had some games where they really let the offensive firepower really take over. 6 against the Boston Bruins. So again, I think I've countered that argument. 5 against the Detroit Red Wings, and they did lose 5-2 to the Jets. But again, I think with this group, there's not necessarily one way to win. Yes, sometimes the other team dictates the game, but they have a group that plays a good defensive structure. There are some leaks. There are some times where they do let in a goal after scoring, or the penalty kill doesn't come up big. But this team has been consistent. So I know we're trying to pick on a little things here, but if I'm Craig Berube, I'm happy. There's in an 82 game season, you're going to have a couple games or a segment of games where you let in a little bit more than you want to. But remember, this is a group that's relying heavily on Joseph Woll, right? Matt Murray's been in and out. Hildeby's come in. He struggled a little bit. So again, I think once Stolarz comes back, and he skated today, I believe, or yesterday, that 1-2 punch, I think you're going to see that goals against average really, stay, under, amongst the top 10 in the league.
So I just did a recount. One of the ballots was mangled, so it's actually 7 games, not 8 games. But the point still is it's happening. So let's get some more pregame sound. This is Chris Tanev on the intensity level for tonight's game.
I think it's going to be a big game for both teams. So standings are super tight, especially in the East. If you look, it's pretty crazy. So every 2 points matters.
Jacob Quillen, undrafted guy, making his NHL debut. What do you remember about your first game?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I blacked out for the start of it. Honestly, warm up, I feel like I don't remember it all. But yeah, it was, once you get going, it's so much fun, and it's obviously well earned for him, and it's amazing accomplishment.
As a leader on the team, to talk to a guy like that, or you
just let him play? I think just let him enjoy the moment, and I mean, give him a little confidence. But I think it's just go out there, play, and enjoy yourself. It only happens once, right?
The Senators haven't scored in 130 minutes. What are you expecting from their offense today?
I mean, they have a ton of skill. They generate a lot, so I mean, they're going to get pucks in net. They have big bodies that go to the net, so I'm assuming a ton of pucks to the net and a lot of bodies. That's usually the recipe for everyone when pucks aren't going in.
You mentioned how does the feeling of the season change? Also, we're past the midway part. You're looking at the standings. Are you feeling a little extra intensity?
I think as you get, I think every game, especially against your division, is extremely intense, and you want to win to sort of separate yourself from them. But I think definitely down the stretch here, it's important. Every 2 points it means a lot.
What do you think about how close it's been for some of those lower spots in the Atlantic, but also even so far as the wild card, with how close everyone has been in terms of points?
Yeah, just a ton of parity in the league, right? So I mean, I think I don't know the exact numbers, but there's got to be 7 or 8 teams within a couple of points of each other, and it's usually not like that this far into the season. So I think it just speaks on how much parity there is throughout the league.
Craig has been talking about wanting you guys to be emotionally invested in these games. He said sometimes he sees it, sometimes he doesn't. How challenging is that when there's 82 of these things?
I mean, it's a long season. I think, I mean, for me, I try to take the same approach every game, and obviously some games are going to go better than others, but I feel like I'm there every game and trying to win. So I mean, as you said, there's 82 games, and sometimes things are going well, sometimes things aren't, but you have to be able to battle through tough situations, and when things are going well, just sort of keep your foot on the gas and be able to propel yourself to play even better.
So, Stu, that last thing he said there about sort of having an even keel, I mean, that might be one of the differences in the Leafs team this year, and he would be directly responsible for it, and so would people like OEL, right?
Yeah, I think so. And, you go back to the comments, well, when they lost 3 in a row, saying, well, it's no big deal. Right. So, the thinking and the mentality of the group, especially when you're having success, is you can't let the highs be too high and the lows be too low. So, yes, there's going to be games where you just think everything's going in the net, and there's a segment, 3, 4, 5 game segments, where everything's just working. Power play's clicking. Guys are getting points. But then there's times where the team struggles. So you can't just have that helter-skelter of emotion where, you're planning the parade and you're putting the parade back when you're struggling. So, that is the key, and you got to find that even keelness throughout the National Hockey League, and the teams that can do that and not just talk about it but actually implement it into their daily routines, right? Sometimes the coaches come out and play a role in that and being really, really frustrated. You just got to ride the wave as they say there, Tats.
So Ottawa 5-3-2 their last 10. The Leafs 6-4. Ottawa hasn't scored in their last 2 games, and I'm not even going to touch what that could mean. We'll set up the opening faceoff for you next. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Lately, times have been challenging, with many people facing increased interest rates, inflation, and rising credit card debt. Everyone needs a little help from time to time, but it can be hard to ask for help when it comes to your personal finances. But you're not alone. Millions of Canadians share that feeling with you. 500,000 Canadians have found help with their debt, and so can you, with Consolidated Credit Counseling Services of Canada. They are one of the largest non-profit credit counseling organizations in the country, with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They could help you consolidate your bills into one affordable payment, minimize your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. No matter how much you owe, you don't need to do this alone. To get help, call 1-800-288-4991. That's 1-800-288-4991. Let Consolidated Credit get you back to a debt-free life. Call 1-800-288-4991. Call toll-free today for a free consultation. 1-800-288-4991. Ontario license number 4705786.
Your sneakers are staring directly at you.
Cheers, Insiders! Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight for the Leafs against the Senators on Hockey Night in Canada, as well the Raptors and the Hawks in Atlanta doing it again. A big win for the Raps last game. Let's see if we can do it again tonight. This is your public service announcement. Make sure you are here hanging out with us on Toronto Sports Insider tomorrow evening for the AFC Championship game. We need every single Toronto Maple Leafs fan and Toronto Raptors fan here in the chat cheering on the Buffalo Bills against the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. We got to get to the Super Bowl. Let's go Bills! Go Leafs, go! We the North, go Raptors! We'll see you all back in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Bye to last year and say hi to a new year with new savings. Shop now at your local Metro or online at metro.ca.
Well, this game hopefully won't need an empty net goal to get tempers flaring. It's the Battle of Ontario, Leafs in Ottawa. Sens are injured and have been shut out in their last two games. The Leafs are injured and after a win over Tampa Monday, couldn't get it done Thursday night in a loss to Columbus. It's a battle of depth. Who wins it? Well, let's find out. Molson Canadian Leafs hockey starts now.
It's time for Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Oh, yes, they do. Welcome to Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on a Saturday night on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. Jim Taddy, former NHLer Anthony Stewart with you. Joe Bone and Jimmy Rouse standing by. The starting lineup is brought to you by Molson, the official beer sponsor of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Stewart goes like this. Matthews between Marner and McMahon. Holmberg centering Nylander and Domi. Camp centering Robertson and Lorentz. Minton centering Reeves and Quillen, who makes his NHL debut. On the blue line, Riley McCabe, OEL, Tanev, Benoit, Myers, Wall starts in goal. What's your take on all that?
It's looking a little thin, right? But this has been a Toronto Maple Leafs group that's dealt with a lot of adversity with regards to injuries the whole entire season. You know, they did have 6-7 AHLers on the roster at one point of the season, but it's an opportunity now for guys to elevate and get extended minutes. So I'm really looking upside that left side for the Bobby McMahons, the Max Domis, and the Lorentz to really see what they're going to do with some extended time. You're seeing Domi elevated to the bumper position on the first line power play, and you're seeing Jacob Quillen make his NHL debut. So it's an opportunity for guys to show what they can do, hopefully put up some more points, but really continue to build on that adversity that I believe is going to help you game 60 to 80 and hopefully into the playoffs. But make no mistake, they are missing Tavares, who's got 20 goals, Matthew Nyes, who is flirting with 20 goals as well too, and Pacioretty, who is adding a physical element. So those guys are going to be deeply, deeply missed, but in today's NHL, injuries is part of it, and look for these other guys to elevate their game while they wait on the return of the injured players.
Tonight's coach's comment is powered by your Ontario Honda dealers. Up your game. Lease the CRV from 2.99% up to 36 months. Visit HondaOntario.com. Here's Coach Berube. What stands out about the Ottawa Senators?
Oh, they got a good team. They got a lot of good young players. They're maturing as it goes along. Starting on the back end with Sanderson and Shabbat, and up front with Stutzel, Kachuk. They got a number of different guys. They play a good brand of hockey. I think they're defensively been strong this year, and again they got lots of skills. So it's always a tough battle against them. Yeah.
What would you usually say to a kid making his NHL debut?
I mean, depending on the player, like I talk about his skill sets and what he needs to do. He's a good skater. Like we talk about, use your skating tonight and your size and your strength, and be physical and keep the game simple. Get into the game. Like get yourself into the game in the first couple of shifts if you can by skating and getting involved, and then as the game goes along, he's going to feel more comfortable, right? So, but that's about it. You don't try to complicate the game.
How much juice is there when there's a rivalry coming on Saturday night? Battle last weekend, Toronto, Montreal.
No, there's always emotion involved. We talked about being emotionally invested here right away in this game. I think that's a big thing. I mean, when you're playing, teams in your division and it's a rivalry, like you got to be emotionally invested in the game.
Just further to that, it was a great scene in Montreal last week, and imagine what it'll be like tonight. Is that a good time considering this is the time of the season where you feel like the grind to kind of help snap players?
Oh, definitely. I think if you look at games over the last 2 weeks, you can see the emotion in some games and not enough in other games. And it's, like in Montreal, a lot of emotion in the game. Tampa Bay the other night at home, there's a lot of emotion in the game, and expect the same tonight.
I realize you weren't the coach of the Maple Leafs last year, but when these two teams met here, sparks flew at the end of the game. How do you think that has really added fuel to the fire of this rivalry?
It's a while ago, but I think it's always in the back of everybody's mind, to be honest with you. As a player, you'd always talk about it or bring it up or maybe. But, again, that's in the past. I think, we played them already once and nothing happened. I mean, I don't expect anything really. You just got to go and play. And if something, if something happens or breaks out, well, then you just, make sure we're, working together and helping each other out there.
What goes through your mind when you hear that Nico Rantanen has followed you to the Eastern Conference?
Well, he's a great player. I'll tell you that. I saw him a lot in Colorado when I was in St. Louis, and he's one of the best players in the National Hockey League. I mean, size, strength, scoring ability, great shot. I mean, he has all the tools. It's so it's helped their team.
So, Stu, going back to that game where they played earlier this season, nothing happened. He wasn't exaggerating. It was November 12th at home to Ottawa, and the Leafs were shut out 3-0. So, literally, nothing happened.
It was literally a nothing burger, and it's funny. I'm going back to it, and I'm like, it was November. So, yeah, you do some video on not necessarily that game specifically, but you go back to, possibly, hey, what are their tendencies on the power play or the penalty kill? And, okay, if some guys are struggling offensively, are they going to be cheating? So just more so tactics, not, hey, you know what, let's go back and break down every clip of a game that was essentially, 2.5 months ago. But this Ottawa team, they're in a thick race here for the wild card too. It's a big win, and I think Toronto wants to create some more distance between them, the Florida Panthers, in this Atlantic Division. So I expect both teams coming out playing a heavy, fast-paced, quick-paced game, and it's going to be very entertaining. That's my prediction tonight.
Okay, a couple of concerns for me on the blue line. So Riley McCabe, and obviously the search is on for the right partner for Riley. What's your take on that?
We need Christopher Columbus here. We've been searching now since forever.
It's gone on for a while. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Again, I think it's just Riley understands he's got to elevate his game, right? And it's not necessarily who his partner is; he's got to complement and make his partner look better, right? You're seeing Tanev. Tanev could be playing, with my left boot, and it's not gonna change his game. He's going to step up and block shots and play. So I think for Morgan, it's just realizing that this is a big year. We have the contract. We have, the term. There's a lot riding on the season. I think for him, he's just got to elevate and decide to be the guy. So McCabe's a guy where he really protects and insulates his partner. Yes, he was -3, I believe, one of the games a couple games ago, maybe last game. But I think for Riley, take some risks. There's nothing wrong with that too. Do not worry about the plus minus. Just get back to playing your game. Solid defensively, but taking risk and jumping in and starting to create some offense. But remember, my memory is very, very bad. I remember they were calling him out last year. Everyone was calling him out. And what did he do? He followed it up with an amazing playoff. So I'll reserve judgment. He has to be better, but I'll reserve judgment until after this upcoming playoff series.
Okay, so let's go to the bottom pairing tonight. Benoit Myers. In the past, it's been Benoit Timmins. Myers has been in the lineup and actually played up higher. But could you look at that and suggest that the 5-6 pairing hasn't grown any roots, which it should have by now, right?
Yeah, I think consistency has been key, and you've seen Benoit, he plays good defensively, for a while, then he goes for a big skate, and, it's some Benoit time, and Myers has lost, some footing and, some of his, his gaps and assignments in the back end, right? So it's almost looking like this group is missing a Luke Shen or somebody back there that can just, a Labushkin, right? I never thought I'd be, saying that because, a Philip Myers and a Benoit, over the last 4 or 5 years, you should have been able to draft and develop and, have a guy that can be a 5-6 defenseman. So I'm sure they'll go to the market. You can never have enough defensemen. You've seen Timmins, who's been in and out of the lineup as well, too. So if I see them adding, whether that's now or around the deadline, I can see them adding another depth defenseman or two.
Yeah, and when they brought in Labushkin and Shen, they moved up and played with Riley, which was kind of a miscast, wasn't it?
Do you remember that? That's great.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Oh. Yeah, but that's what it is. It's about guys elevating and complementing, but being able to, adjust, right? You got to have guys that can play up and down the lineup. You got to, what if, you knock on wood, a Riley gets hurt, right? Who's going to step up? You saw what happened when McCabe was out. They were really, really missing a big guy. So, I think, I've heard some of the brain trust talk about to win a Stanley Cup, you're going to need 7, 8, even 9 defensemen. So again, it's a little bit thin with what's going on with Hakanpää in and out of the lineup, hurt. We hear he's going to Four Nations Cup, so I can see them really addressing that, not just on the personnel side, but just on the depth side, adding some depth pieces that can step up and give you 12 to 14 solid minutes.
Stu, Things I Remember is going to be the title of my book collection because it's going to be several volumes.
Yeah, and when you forget or you remember, just say yes guy, no guy. That's where that came from, right?
Yes, it did.
Yes, that's great. That's great.
So coming up next, the opening face-off, the Battle of Ontario, live from Ottawa, as the Leafs take on the Ottawa Senators, both battered with injuries and both looking for a win, and Ottawa's been shut out the last 2 games. And again, because Ralphie will get upset, we're going to leave that alone. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
This week on Let's Go with Bill Belichick, Max Crosby, Peter King, and me, Jim Gray. We've got Tom Brady here.
Baltimore had a great season, but it comes to a screeching halt when you don't do some of the things they've done so well all season. That's playoff football.
The Ravens aren't saying, well, we got beat by Buffalo. They really outplayed us. I think they're saying we had some easy opportunities and we just screwed them up.
Listen to the extended version of Let's Go, now available exclusively on the all-new SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gore, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Coaches are probably yelling an expletive, right? About, whatever, how that particular trend is going. So you're right. So far, it's like perfect.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stiller. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Hockey 24/7 on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
Playing in the Four Nations face-off for Team USA, Connor Hellebuck.
How do you feel about getting a chance to play for USA?
The type of hockey it's going to be fun. There's going to be some high-pressure games. You're going to be putting your country's jersey on. You're representing your country. I think we're going to have a great fan base around us. And I'm really looking forward to what it brings.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Devils head coach Sheldon Keefe, you decided to jump right back into it.
New Jersey Devils reached out really within an hour or so of the news coming out of me being let go. And the more I got to know Tom and his vision for the team and seeing the situation, it was a tremendous opportunity that I couldn't let pass by.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on SiriusXM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
From in the crease to in the locker room.
Four Nations Team Canada face-off associate GM Jim Nill. You as a manager view goaltending going into the tournament in February.
Now we're talking about two of the guys that won Stanley Cups and play in those type of pressure games. That's a pretty good resume to have. So we're pretty confident with it and pretty confident with the team that we're going to have playing in front of them.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Avalanche General Manager Chris McFarland. What went in to maybe change that duo in goal?
With the work of our scout, Wedgwood's experience, he was a veteran guy, he's been through the grind. We were very bullish on McKenzie, and when the opportunity came to add him, we just felt it was the right move for us, long term.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Ward Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Leafs and the Ottawa Senators colliding here this evening as the Maple Leafs are on the road, and the starting lineup brought to you by Molson, the official beer sponsor of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Joseph Woll's getting the call in goal. He's never beaten the Ottawa Senators. 17-8-0 this season, though. 2.69 and a .907 save percentage. And it will be Anton Forsberg, 5-9-1 with a 2.92 save percentage, as Linus Ullmark is still on the injured list. The opening faceoff brought to you by Alpine Credits. You own your own home and need a loan. Alpine Credits can help. Get approved at alpinecredits.ca.
Almost looked like when you looked at the injured list, you thought, these are the scratches in training camp.
No kidding.
Season games. Some of the big names that are left off. Both teams missing goaltenders. Now, Ottawa does get some help. And Travis Hamonic, after missing 10 games, is back on the fence. Sanderson, who missed the last game against the Boston Bruins, he's back. But still, as you mentioned, Ullmark, Bernard Docker, Cole Reinhardt, Josh Norris, and now Nick Jensen out for the Ottawa Senators.
And for the Leafs, Matthew Nyes, Connor Dewar, Max Pacioretty, John Tavares not available tonight.
Throw in Stolars too, I guess.
Yes. Leafs to the right and the Senators to the left. We're underway as it's pushed ahead to the center ice area. Matthews couldn't get it in. McMahon had some difficulties with it, and it's chipped in over the line by Shane Pinto. Puck around back of the net. Benoit unable to track it down. Nick Cousins plays it around the boards to the near side. Chipped in along the boards by Artem Zubin. Back of the net it goes. Pinto a centering pass, and the shot was deflected wide of the net. Puck around the boards to the near side, but no one there for the Leafs to get it out. Senators keep it alive. Back of the goal, it'll go to OEL, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson tips it back behind the goal and allows Benoit to the puck as the Senators headed for a change. Benoit banking it off the boards, but didn't get it out. Off on the wing, it comes to the near side. Chipped along in now by David Perron. Cut off there by the Maple Leafs, but the Senators are onto it again. Kachuk trying to get away from Benoit. Benoit had an easy chance to clear, but didn't get it out of the zone. Long shot goes wide of the Leaf goal. Play's been down in the Leaf end for the entire minute and 9 seconds here to start the game. Puck comes out at center ice, and we've lost our audio from the... Oh, there it's back. Brought in now by Nylander, and his pass into the slot was intercepted. Played to center. Perron will send it down into the Leaf end. Near boards for Morgan Riley. Long shooting around the boards to the far side. Trapped there and played back by Ridley Gregg. It comes into the slot. Marner working on the near boards, looking for a man. Sends it to the net. That was deflected wide by Forsberg. Puck along the boards from McMahon. McMahon to Marner. Marner trying to get it back to the blue line, but it was out of the reach of Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who has to go back to the Leaf line. Played ahead up on the wing and knocked in over the line and back of the goal. Leafs Matthews trying to get there. Got a pretty good track record in this building.
Around back of the net, Marner trying to free it up, does to the side of the goal. McMahon after it into the near corner, and it'll be played high to center ice and down into the Leaf end, forcing Tanev back after it. Tanev reverses the puck. Wall got clipped by one of the Senators coming across into the forecheck there. Got knocked down. No call. Didn't see who that was. Is Tkachuk on the ice? Played around the boards and into the far corner. Myers trying to work it up the boards but can't get it out. Rung around back of the net, too far for Highmore to pick up for Ottawa. It'll go back behind the goal. Myers on his backhand, got it up on the wing for Robertson. He can't get it out. Puck in around back of the net once more. Here the Senators with it again. Trying to get it to the net with a wrist shot was Gaudette. It comes back onto the left wing boards for Sanderson. To the point for Zub, a long shot. That was off the mark wide. Played down into the corner. Zub after it again and into the corner now for Stützle. He loses it. Leafs trying to get it out and finally do. But now here's Tkachuk bringing it up on the right side and got it in over the line. Mantipalo couldn't get it in deep for him, and the Leafs get it back into the Ottawa zone. Tyler Clevin got it up on the wing, and a pass off on the wing. It comes left wing side. McMahon with a shot. Pad save made there by Forsberg. Far corner again. Matthews getting it around the boards, and now onto the left wing for OEL. Back of the net for Marner. Tried to center. He did. Shot scores. Bobby McMahon in the slot, set up by Marner. And the Leafs open the scoring 1-0.
Greg Berube said moving McMahon into Matthew Nye's spot. He said same player, right? Straight line guy, goes to the net. Good shot, big body. And Bobby McMahon is thinking, I kind of like this line. After the Leafs, 2 or 3 shifts, Joe, in a row, spent in their own end. Finally, the puck has worked out from behind the net. Mitch Marner doing the little Gretzky impression. Ducks around to the right side, throws it right out to Bobby McMahon in front. And this, Joe, may have ramped up off a stick in the slot off an Ottawa player and into the top of the goal.
14th goal of the season for McMahon. And the Leafs open the scoring early in this one as it comes back to the blue line. Reeves couldn't get it on his stick. A pass in front directed at the goal, down his wall, and he's managed to keep it out. Now he's trying to get it back up, and there's a penalty coming here to Toronto. Played off on the left wing side. 6 attackers now for Ottawa. Back to the point for Stützle. Stützle holds, gives it off on the near boards. Trying to work it back to the point with Shabbat. Stützle to the far side. The one-timer went wide. Near boards for Shabbat again. Tipped into the corner. The Leafs going to get a touch of it? No. Kept alive by Ottawa, and now they will, to bring the first penalty of the game, and it is Pierre Lambert making the call. Brian Pochmara is his referee mate. David Brisebois and Derek Nansen are the linesmen. Wow, that right on the goal post, and Wall was able to keep it out.
I'm still not sure where the penalty occurred. Well, they're going to call that right at the side of the net. There were 4 players there. One goes down, and I think they're going to say Jake McCabe kicked the skates out of the Ottawa player to draw the penalty. 4:37 in.
Penalty kill is brought to you by CMC Markets. Take your trading to the next level with $0 commission on stocks.
I mentioned the Ottawa Senators have had trouble scoring. That includes the power play. 1 for 19 in their last 7.
On the power play now. Wrist shot from the point. Smothered down. Wool trying to get to it, and it's cleared by the Maple Leafs as it bounced out into the slot. Marner with the lone assist on the goal for Bobby McMahon. And the Leafs have opened the scoring. Brought through center by Drake Batherson. In on the left wing for Tkachuk. Tkachuk bats it back to the blue line. Sanderson over on the near side for Giroux. Back to Sanderson. Off on the left wing. Stützle. Rebound. And a good stick there by Benoit. Deflected that into the corner. Here's Stützle in the corner. Getting it back to Giroux. Giroux holds, trying to find a man and does. Sanderson, left wing side. Stützle, shot wide. Rebound, bounce it out in front. Almost got knocked into the net by the skate of Wall. It comes back to the point, and the Senators can't keep it in. Leafs trying to get a couple of players exchanged on the penalty kill. Round back of the net. Stützle had a pretty good grab there on the jersey. It looked of Oliver Ekman-Larsson, but no call. Leafs have iced the puck with 44 seconds remaining in the power play.
This feel to you like the Leafs are holding on to a 1-goal lead with a minute left? And the goalie's pulled it. It just feels like there's that kind of intensity from Ottawa.
Played down into the corner. Myers against the boards. Battles in there along with Chabot. And again, the Leafs get a hold of it and have sent the puck out and down the ice. Matthews doing the job there. Chabot dropping it back. Brought on by Shane Pinto. In on the right wing side for Gaudette. He couldn't come up with it. Leafs have iced the puck again. And that's going to do it for the power play. McCabe getting out of the box. Leafs with a 1-0 lead. Senators had 3 shots in that power play opportunity. Leafs intercept a pass. Here's Kemp getting it up ahead for Domi. He couldn't get in over the line. Played back into the Toronto zone. They'll regroup the puck. Benoit playing it up on the left wing for Max Domi. Long alley-oop into the right wing corner for Nylander. He couldn't get to it in time. And it's brought back by Sanderson, who gets it up on the left wing. And Matthew Highmore sends it down into the Toronto zone. Leafs with it now, and Morgan Riley playing it up on the left wing just to get it out. And it's gone down into Ottawa territory and no icing. Both teams getting a change in. And young Jacob Quillen on the ice for the first time in the National Hockey League. Mother in attendance. Looks like grandparents there as well. It's back to the point. Pass was blocked. Reeves trying to chase his man down. So's McCabe, and a goal. Stopped by Wall. Big save made by the Leaf netminder. Quillen works it out at center ice and is going to backhand it in, and then got caught knee on knee in the center ice area. Both players go down. Oh, no. Quillen is injured as well.
And Nick Cousins is down. I think this is turtling after they hit. And, boy, for Quillen, it looks like the left knee.
Now, that's heartbreaking. He's on the bench, but, you know, he's in a lot of problems.
It's going to be interesting to see the highlight on this. Certainly, I mean, Nick Cousins looks like he's injured, or at least trying to get the officials' attention that way to maybe avoid a knee-on-knee penalty. And you don't like to call a guy out for an injury.
Quillen walking a little bit on the bench. I don't know if he's going to get back on the ice and try to.
Yeah, Craig Berube is saying, hey, is there a penalty here? And we'll see. Cousins is really struggling to get to the Ottawa bench.
Quillen is.
Thank goodness. Yeah, Quillen is back
out there and skating around a little bit. What?
I don't know if this is knee on knee though, Joy. I think.
Well, it ended up being knee on knee, but it was an accidental collision, right?
Yeah, Quillen saw Cousins at the last minute, tried to get out of the way. So nothing dirty, I don't think, from Cousins' side. I don't think there's going to be a Leaf power play.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Get to know the contenders for music's highest honor, from country to pop, rock to hip-hop, and beyond. The 67th Annual Grammy Awards nominees have their own SiriusXM destination, the Grammy Channel. For a limited time on SiriusXM 17. And at home on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices.
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gord, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Coaches are probably yelling an expletive, right? About, whatever, how that particular trend is going. So you're right. So far, it's like perfect.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stiller. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius.
What's up, hockey fans? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Maple Leafs game. Now's the time in the show to find out where Leafs Nation is gathering from here on TSI, listening to the Leafs game, watching on TV, watching wherever you are, watching on YouTube, chatting it up, cheering our boys on. Let's go Maple Leafs. Let's get the win tonight. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for letting us know where you're watching from, whether it's the United States, Canada, or all over the world. It's so much fun hanging out with you guys every single Maple Leafs game. Now let's get back to the hockey. Go Leafs, go. We'll see you back in the chat.
And went to Quinnipiac University in Connecticut.
So that would have been your quickest divorce?
No, it was a new job. But thanks for helping out.
I'm going to say that beats my records.
Puck goes into the bed. But Quillen is into the lineup in a rather unique set of circumstances.
Yeah, Matthew Nyes comes out, so Quillen is called up. And it was in 2023, and you'll remember Matthew Nyes with Minnesota went to the Frozen Four final that was being played in Tampa. And they lost to Quinnipiac in overtime in the deciding game. Jacob Quillen scored the game-winning goal 10 seconds in. He had 2 goals in the semifinal game before that. So,
which explains the fist fight in the locker room before when Quillen arrived. So that got over real quick, which is good.
Kind of ironic, though, that he doesn't get a chance to play with Nyes, but because Nyes is not available for the Leafs right now.
1-0 Toronto. Sent down into the Leaf zone, out of the net, and scooping it back of the goal was Wall. It comes up on the wing, but the Senators are there, then wrapped around back of the net to the near side. Domi took a swipe at it and played it out. Nylander trying to break in. He does! Backhand shot! Oh, and it's just corralled by Anton Forsberg. That puck looked like it might squirt through.
Looked like it was on edge, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Nylander just kind of one-handed it towards the net. But again, this time it was Thomas Chabot he got a step on as the puck came up the left wing boards and off Nylander went. And now we got
Tkachuk has grabbed somebody.
Max Domi
for some reason. Tkachuk's helmet is off. Don't know what started this. We were in the middle of watching a replay and didn't see anything on the ice that precipitated it. Maybe we'll get a replay here to let us know what did happen.
Well, I can... still haven't seen anything yet.
Oh.
But I can tell you that since 2018-19, Tkachuk came in on Holmberg. And then Max Domi came in with a cross-check and put him in a headlock. And I think both are going to go, which they should. You're going to find this amazing. But Brady Tkachuk, since entering the NHL in the 2018-19 season, well, he did have 722 penalty minutes, which is the most by any player in that time. Any player in that time. I think he's got 724 now.
Oh, good.
Because these teams will play 4-on-4.
So the face-off will be, let's see, in the Ottawa zone. They're not waving things out because of the altercation. Leafs win the draw. Riley gets the puck back at the blue line, dropped it off, and Nylander has to take it out into neutral ice. He's going to give it back to Morgan Riley. Riley returns the favor, and Willie starts out of his own end, working up on the right wing. Nylander with speed in over the line and works in on the top of the circles, over into the corner. That bounced away from Pontus Holmberg, and now here's a 2-on-1 break for Ottawa. In over the line, trying to find a man in front of the net. Pinto is there, knocked away, and the puck is cleared at the last second and shot out at center, and Nylander's got it again in a goal, and he shot it wide on the right wing side. Going end to end here. Pinto makes a move to get the puck over on the left wing side. Chabot sends it around the boards to the near side for Artem Zub. Zub is upended there by Holmberg, I believe, and the Leafs are going to be a man short.
And this is just kind of a lazy penalty where you get caught reaching. And Ottawa's going to have a huge advantage here. 4-on-3 for minute 7 after very nearly cashing in on a 2-on-1 break. I also think, Joe, that part of that turnover was because the puck went off the referee. And Holmberg went the wrong way, and Holmberg is the one that's going to pick up the penalty here. So the Leafs' second time short. And this time it's going to hurt a little more as Ottawa's got all kinds of space with a 4-on-3 power play.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson's been given an additional assist on the opening goal for the Maple Leafs on Bobby McMahon's tally. Now the Senators have won the faceoff. Sanderson back at the point. Dishes it off on the far side. Played back into the slot area. Giroux to Sanderson. Holding and a shot. Stopped there by Wall. Near boards for Stützle. Stützle to the far side for Giroux. Giroux holds down low, trying to jam it in on the short side was Batherson. And the Leafs have sent the puck out and down the ice. 41 seconds left to go in the double minors to Domi and to Tkachuk. Batherson gives it off to Stützle. Stützle goes wide against Tanev, who forces him around the boards. Comes back to the point. Batherson back into the corner. Stützle with it back into the slot area for Sanderson to Stützle to Sanderson again. Holding and shooting. That was blocked by Camp, who's broken his stick because of it. And now a real problem ensues here for the Maple Leafs. Sanderson another try, and that deflects wide. Can't get a stick now, he is, but the puck is down low and they score. And our thoughts on going to the bench to get a stick. Camp tried it.
Yeah.
Didn't get back in time.
No, but the bottom line is
he's not doing anything
anyway.
No, you're right.
And it was Stützle. I mean, it ends up being a 4-on-2. And Stützle finds the short side on the one-timer. But yeah, I mean, you just kind of hope. And we're talking, Joe, maybe 5 seconds it took Camp to get the stick and come back.
Yeah.
But by then it was too late. A little give and go, and this is the perfect shot off. Glove side, short side on Joseph Wall, just inside the post.
So the Senators are not going to be shut out.
Well, they hadn't scored since early in the third period in a 2-1 win over the New Jersey Devils. And then back-to-back shutouts on the road against the New York Rangers and Boston Bruins.
16th of the year for Stützle. It comes at 10:43. And the game is tied at 1.
I'll tell you, if the Leafs don't smarten up in their own end, they're going to be in the box all night or get blown out in this game. All these penalties have simply been because they haven't been able to get the puck out of their own zone.
Senators bring it to center, knock it in over the line. Leafs have lost the last 3 games to the Ottawa Senators, but are 5-5 in the last 10 played against their provincial rivals. And now a pass cut off by Reeves into the corner, centering feed, looking for a man in front. Chip back to the blue line now, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson's shot is blocked. Reeves gets it again, back to the point. Quillen in with a shot, his first of his career, and that was blocked before it reached the net. Quillen battles back after the puck, but it is cleared to center ice now by Ottawa. Quillen getting there again, and a big hit by Reeves, and some pushing and shoving, and now Reeves and Tkachuk. And Tkachuk doesn't want to have anything to do with this. He's trying to get into the bench as fast as he can. I'm out of here.
Yep, but before I go, and are the Leafs going to get a power play here? Puck goes over the glass of the Ottawa zone.
That was comical.
There are some guys that are famous for, and Brother Matthew does the same thing. I'm going to look over this way and still try to throw punches behind me. Give Tkachuk, he didn't back down on Ryan Reeves either.
At any rate, it's a 1-1 tie. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
4 nations face off for the world to see. This February, international best-on-best hockey is back as NHL stars compete for their country to see which hockey nation will reign.
Star power in abundance.
Canada, Finland, Sweden, USA. Teammates turned rivals, and rivals turned teammates. For country, for glory, 4 nations.
We are set for puck drop.
The 4 Nations Face-Off begins February 12th on Sportsnet.
The 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid is here, and it may sound too good to be true. With a 2-liter 4-cylinder backed by 2 electric motors, giving a combined 200 horsepower, it's our most powerful and fuel-efficient Civic ever. Plus, with an estimated range of over 800 kilometers and available features like a Bose premium sound system, your crew will love it too. Huh, maybe it should be called the Civic 2.0. Redefine your drive with the 2025 Civic Hybrid. Visit your Ontario Honda dealer and test drive yours today.
This product may not be right for you. Always read and follow the label.
Looking to kick the new year off on a healthier note? Why not add a little spice to your life? Now you can with new Nordic's Chili Burn Max. Packed with chili, green tea, and black cumin, Chili Burn Max is Scandinavia's #1 weight loss supplement. For over 20 years, tens of thousands of users have trusted New Nordic's Chili Burn Max to help them achieve their weight goals. Find it at Shoppers Drug Mart, Walmart, Loblaws, Jean Coutu, and London Drugs, or shop online at Amazon and newnordic.ca.
1-1 tie between the Senators and the Maple Leafs.
You said Joseph Wall hasn't won against the Ottawa Senators yet, but you remember last year he got hurt in Ottawa.
Maybe the best game he was had.
Yeah, and he was winning 3-2 when he left. Martin Jones came in. Nylander made it 4-2. Ottawa makes it 4-3, meaning Martin Jones got the win because he was in for the game-winning goal.
Playing around back of the net now for the Leafs. Trying to get it in front of the net was Holmberg. He gets it back to the point. Nylander goes D to D now for Riley, and a shot in traffic. It's knocked down, and it's going to be cleared out into the center ice area by Ottawa. Leafs won, the Senators won. Nylander crossed the line. Holmberg shooting. That was stopped. The rebound. And Forsberg got a glove on it and is able to stop play and bring a face-off in the Ottawa zone. Mitch Marner with the assist on the Bobby McMahon goal now has, 498 assists in his career. He is just 2 away from the 500 mark. Boreas Salming has 775, Sittler 803, and Sundin 880. And then comes Marner. In a fairly quick period of time in comparison to those other great Leafs. Leafs keep the puck in as backhanded into the corner by Camp. Swept around the boards and to the line by Montepallo, and it's out at center ice for Ottawa, who will get it to the line. Blocked there momentarily, but played in on a delay, and the Leafs have it now, and David Camp starts up the left wing boards, doesn't get it out. Benoit took his man instead of getting the puck, but Myers has control of the disc, and he'll get it ahead, and it's deflected down into Ottawa territory. Sens regrouping back in their own zone. Got it ahead for Pinto. Shane Pinto hits the line, but his drop pass went off a skate. Leafs are able to get the puck back out at center with Chris Tanev, but no one there to carry on for him, and the Sens bring it right back in. Highmore trying to get a shot away that was deflected down into the corner. Played back to the point, long shot into the slot area. Here's Amadio trying to get it back to the point. Sanderson walks the line. Sent it into the slot area, pushed ahead then by Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and he's going to get it to center, but the Leafs don't get it into the offensive zone. Played back by Ottawa. It's going to go wide of the Leaf goal, and good read there by Joseph Wall. He was going to play that initially and then got his head up to see that the linesman had his arm up, and an icing call coming here against Ottawa. 6:11 to play, first period.
Hasn't been a great period for the Leafs, really. Has a lot of time in their own end. Draw a couple of penalties because of it. Joseph Wall has been forced to make, I'd say, 3 outstanding saves to keep this game close.
7-4, the shots on goal favoring Ottawa. Nylander, who's had 2 partial breakaways, plays it back of the Ottawa goal. Sanderson rubbed out there by Domi. Centering pass went off a stick. Sens have it again. Brought to center by Amadio, and he'll send it down into the Toronto end. McCabe reverses the puck. Took a little rub out there as a long lead pass to center for Domi went astray, and Shabbat goes back into his own territory. Played up ahead for Travis Hamonic, who gets it down into the Leaf end. Myers hustling back, takes it back of the goal, and swings it up on the left wing for Benoit. He'll just poke it out into neutral ice. Tried to play it past one of the Senators. That didn't work, and now Reeves trying to get to the puck but couldn't, and it's back down to the Toronto blue line. Benoit tries the other side. And Quillen gets it into the zone for them. A hit on the boards by Quillen. Puck comes out off a stick to center. Brought to the line and in. Senators along the boards with Ridley Gregg. Couldn't get it in deep, and it's back into neutral ice. 4:57 to play, first period. Leafs open the scoring. Power play goal for Ottawa has tied it. Bouncing puck along the boards in the Toronto zone. Fed back of the net. Tanev is there. Leads the Leafs with a +17 rating. Brought in on the left wing for Lorenz. A shot. That knocked the helmet off the goaltender. And after a couple of screams to the official, Anton Forsberg will get his mask back on his noggin.
That still would be the best hockey card pick, though, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Mask off.
Mask off. Yeah, John Bauer. Look at you. 1-1 tie. Leafs and Sens. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the SiriusXM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on the SiriusXM app and talk about all the EPL drama on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SiriusXM app. NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gore, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive and
What's up, football? Cheers, insiders. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Toronto Maple Leafs game. A big shout out to all of the insiders here in the chat and everybody that's watching here on YouTube with us while we listen to the Leafs game. The best call in the business, Mr. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph. No better call ever, in my opinion. Thank you so much for being here every single night. And you are making a huge difference in our community with SickKids Hospital. The amount of donations that we are seeing in the football frenzy is absolutely insane. Thank you, Leafs fans, and thank you, insiders. Now let's get back to the hockey. Go, Leafs, go.
Radio, Sirius XM 91.
.436 to play, first period. The Leafs won and the Ottawa Senators won. Bobby McMahon has the Leaf goal. On the line with Matthews and Marner.
Really, other than the goal, I mean, maybe the Willie Nylander attempt. The only other one that would have been considered dangerous. Forsberg just getting back to the Ottawa net now. You'll remember there was a playoff game. Ken Dryden lost his mask against Boston. And obviously there was no rule then.
No.
They were going to blow the whistle, so Dryden had to play without.
And of course, maybe the most famous mask situation was in New York when Victor Hadfield threw Bernie Perrant's mask into the seats.
A playoff game, wasn't it?
Yeah. And despite the efforts of one King Clancy to go and recover it, the denizens in New York would not give it back.
And if I recall, Jacques Plante came in and replaced Perrant. Perrant did not go back in.
No. They didn't have two masks in those days. Shot here, swallowed up by Wall off the rush, and there'll be a face-off in the Toronto zone.
I think there was some criticism at the time because I think Gump Worsley was still playing, didn't wear a mask. There were still a handful of guys.
Yep.
But I mean, that's a pretty big ask. I think especially because Perrant wore a mask since coming into the NHL with the Boston Bruins.
He wouldn't have worn a mask in junior, probably. I don't think.
Not sure
of that, no.
I remember seeing pictures of him in Oklahoma City, the Bruins farm team wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm. Matt Murray is the backup goaltender for the Maple Leafs. He has been called up, and Dennis Hildeby is back with the Marlies on their West Coast road trip. Brought in over the line by Ottawa, down into the corner. Ekman Larson played it around on the far side. Tanev couldn't help him out, but now Tanev working diligently here against Batherson on the boards as it comes back to the point. Over on the near side, and a long shot drifted wide by HNIC to the side of the goal. Unable to get it in front. Now they do, and a wrist shot goes off the stick, I believe, of Pontus Holmberg, and has found the screen in behind Joseph Wall.
Feels like the shot should be more than 8-5. Shouldn't it? Leafs have had all kinds of trouble with the Ottawa forecheck. And there's another one. Leafs have control of the puck briefly, turn it over, and the Ottawa Senators another shot attempt. Ottawa had I was going to say Ottawa had a rough stretch because of the World Juniors from December 17th to January 7th, 9 straight on the road. They survived it, 4-4-1.
Draw one by Ottawa. Left wing side, a shot swallowed up by Wall again.
Another broken stick.
Somewhere someone's just rubbing their hands, you know.
I think I read a stat somewhere where the average is 2 or 3 sticks a game are broken. But lately, I mean, that's got to be going up.
Yep. Wasn't it Adam Oates that had a wooden stick and another composite stick? And on the power play, he wanted the wooden stick because he didn't want it, to break, and also he had a better feel for it. Long shoot in. There goes McMahon to get it down into Ottawa territory. And it's played out into the center ice zone, forcing McCabe back after it. McCabe circles into the corner. A pass ahead for Benoit. Gets to the red line and in with McMahon. Now a loose puck stolen back by Matthews to McMahon. He got the shot away, and that was swallowed up by Forsberg with Marner hovering around on the doorstep there.
Well, this line and Willie Nylander really the only ones with any kind of offensive pop so far in the first period. Talk about changing sticks. You remember the name Bennett Wolf?
Yes.
Played with Bennett in Baltimore. And when he was killing penalties, he'd go to the bench and tell the trainer solid ash. He had a stick that was made of solid ash that he used much like in the El Capone movie. The baseball bat used by...
That was solid ash.
It was that Robert De Niro,
yes.
I think. Yeah.
And that's how he used it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hack, whack, and slash. And this thing is not breaking.
No.
No.
Should be in the Roy Hobbs Museum. Well, that's a different movie, but...
Sens win the draw. Clevin gets it out and down the ice, and an icing call here against Ottawa. We'll bring it back with 2:41 to play in the first period. Leafs won and the Ottawa Senators won.
Leafs did not take a penalty in the game against Columbus and have taken 2 already in the first period here. I mean, you look at the Columbus game, I thought they came out flying in the first period. I thought, they were going to be fine, and all of a sudden, not only does the power play not score, but you give up the shorthanded goal, and everything started to tilt.
Sens get it out at center. Knock it in off the stick of Matinpalo. And around back of the goal, it'll come to the near side. Good hit there by Lorenz to free the puck up for Robertson. Robertson had to go off a stick, and Morgan Riley now playing it out into the blue line area, but didn't get it out. Now David Camp does. Camp coming to center with Robertson. Robertson sends it back into the corner for Camp. Camp looking to try and pry it free as he's taken to the boards, and then Robertson got run over. Camp trying to dig it out. HNIC's got Robertson pinned on all fours down against the boards.
I'm not sure how that is an interference. Robertson coming in looking for the loose puck and just got filled in.
Now Quillen gets it back to the point. Kept alive now by Oliver Ekman-Larsson to the left wing side for Riley. A centering pass went wide. Quillen will get to it in the far corner. Backhands it around into the corner for Robertson. Robertson, a nice little stunner move and a centering pass for Riley, who had crept in there, and it was just deflected away from him. HNIC will drop it off, and it's played high to center ice by the Senators. Knocked into the corner then by Ridley Gregg. Quillen couldn't help out. Then a shot knocked away by Wall. He didn't see it. And then when it trickled back towards him, He's able to pounce on it and stop play with 1:08 to go in the period. Face-off coming in the Toronto zone in a 1-1 tie.
Boy, another instance, though, right? Puck flipped into the Leaf zone. They've got numbers. It was a 1-on-3. They couldn't come up with it. A little earlier in that shift, Morgan Riley jumping down from the left point. Very nearly had an empty net to try to put it into, but Drake Batherson, nice recovery to get a stick on it.
Ridley Gregg is waved out of the face-off circle. Matthews taking the draw against Shane Pinto and has won it cleanly. McCabe flipping it into neutral ice. Cut off there by Zub. Now the Senators, with less than a minute to go in the period, get to the red line, and Zub will send it down into the Toronto zone. Tanev starting back up ice for Toronto. Here's the Toronto native to center. Tanev fanned on the shoot-in, didn't get it in deep. And the Senators are going to send an alley-oop through into neutral ice and back into the Toronto zone. Tanev gets it back ahead of Nylander. Playing it in on the right side, too far for Mitch Marner. Played around back of the net. Matthews tried to tip it away from the defenseman, but couldn't, and it's cleared out at center. And here's an odd man rush in over the line with Tkachuk. Shooting right on. Stopped there by Wall. And then Benoit and Tkachuk shove a little bit.
Boy, Jake McCabe pinches and loses on the idea of trying to keep the puck in, and Ottawa comes back the other way. The thing, he wasn't able to take his man either, who jumped past him. Unfortunately, Benoit was back, and Tkachuk was forced to shoot as Benoit took the possible shot away. Tkachuk, by the way, 9 games without a point, which is the longest of his career. In fact, his last goal, January 7th against Detroit.
Go out of the left of Wall. 22.4 seconds to go in the period. Now Camp is waved out, and Holmberg will move in. And the puck is dropped, but the deflects into the corner. Leafs are able to get it up on the wing. A long alley-oop for David Camp, who was offside. And as it settled and Camp saw it, he touched it, and that brought about the whistle. Now we get Domi and Tkachuk again. Nothing more develops of this. I'm sure the conversation is really interesting to listen to.
I'd say it was probably pretty colorful.
Pointed.
It was Max Domi tried to launch one up the middle. Remember the playoff game? I think it was game 2 against Boston. Max Domi found Austin Matthews on that flip pass. Where's the faceoff coming all the way back into the Leaf zone?
Why?
I mean, it was an offside, and I guess obviously,
deliberate offside.
Obviously, I mean, Domi launched it from inside the blue line.
At any rate, 12.9 seconds to go, and a big face-off to the right of Wall. And it is scrummed, and then a shot was set by Tkachuk wide of the goal. Tomahawk there by Holmberg. It'll go to the far boards. Round back of the net. Domi gets his man tangled up, drops his stick, pleading innocence of a hook, and the horn goes to end the first period. A 1-1 tie after 20 minutes.
Well, Leafs might be fortunate to be in this one. Ottawa, a little bit of a push. They snapped their shutout streak thanks to, a bizarre situation where it's 4-on-4. Leafs take a penalty, and then David Camp breaks a stick. So it's 4-on-2 as Camp goes to the bench and doesn't get back in time to help out.
12-6, the shots favor Ottawa. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
I'm anchoring myself to hope. Be inspired with Joel Osteen Radio.
I just love Joel. He's the best, I learn so much from him all the time.
Oh, it's just very uplifting.
It's time to say this is a new day. I've been anchored to that junk long enough.
And when you are encouraged, you can do anything.
Promotion is coming. Healing is coming. Breakthroughs are coming.
Your life will never be the same.
Be inspired with Joel Osteen Radio. Sirius XM 128 and on the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gord, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Coaches are probably yelling an expletive, right? About, whatever, how that particular trend is going. So you're right. So far, it's like perfect.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stiller. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Playing in the Four Nations face-off for Team USA, Connor Hellebuck.
How do you feel about getting a chance to play for USA?
The type of hockey it's going to be fun. There's going to be some high-pressure games. You're going to be putting your country's jersey on. You're representing your country. I think we're going to have a great fan base around us, and I'm really looking forward to what it brings.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
From in the crease to in the locker room.
Four Nations Team Canada face-off associate GM Jim Nill. You as a manager view goaltending going into the tournament in February.
Yeah, we're talking about two of the guys that won Stanley Cups and play in those type of pressure games. That's a pretty good resume to have. So we're pretty confident with it and pretty confident with the team that we're going to have playing in front of them.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Avalanche General Manager Chris McFarland. What went in to maybe change that duo in goal?
With the work of our scout, Wedgwood's experience, he was a veteran guy, he's been through the grind. We were very bullish on McKenzie, and when the opportunity came to add him, we just felt it was the right move for us, long term.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Devils head coach Sheldon Keefe, you decided to jump right back into it.
New Jersey Devils reached out really within an hour or so of the news coming out of me being let go. And the more I got to know Tom and his vision for the team and seeing the situation, it was a tremendous opportunity that I couldn't let pass by.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
You're listening to the Intermission Show on the home of the blue and white on the Leafs Radio Network. Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
And it's tied after 20 minutes of play. Ottawa 1 and Toronto 1 after 20's driven by Subaru. Get out in winter with standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today. Jim Taddy and Anthony Stewart with you. Stu, it was a great start. They rolled the top line, and instead of rolling all four lines, they just spliced in the top line a couple of times, and it resulted in that 1-0 goal. Nice setup to McMahon, and he buried it.
Yeah, great job by Craig Berube and just trying to catch the Ottawa Senators maybe sleeping or catch them on some line changes. They're putting out that first line 3 times, so that really, messed up the rhythm of Travis Green and co. in trying to match those lineups. And, they caught them in the D zone. And, great job for Mitch Marner down below the dot and behind the net, really getting the puck off the wall, making a great pass to McMahon and scoring his 14th of the year. So we've seen the story before, though. Right after that goal, the most important shift is the one after a goal. They get a penalty, McCabe going in for tripping, and that really killed that momentum that they had. So going into Ottawa, they did give up a power play goal, but 1-1 shots were 12-6 in favor of the Ottawa Senators. It wasn't the worst period, but I'm sure Toronto has another level to their game for the final 40 minutes here.
So I feel like a couple of weeks ago when they were stumbling around, we talked about this, the lack of being able to build off the momentum, and you nailed it there. And there was that Cousins Quillen sort of, I guess, accidental collision at center ice that actually hurt Cousins more than Quillen. That sort of tipped things in the Ottawa favor, didn't it?
It did, yeah. It was sort of a war of attrition, and you saw, Tkachuk getting mixed up with Domi. He got mixed up with Ryan Reeves. I think Ryan Reeves was trying to pull him into the bench there, too. So, a bit of a rivalry budding there, too. And, the one thing is, yes, it's a good job that Quillen is not hurt because, no one really does knees on purpose anymore because there's a 50-50 chance. You stick your knee out, there's a 50-50 chance you're going to get hurt yourself. Obviously, that's the case with Cousins, who's now done for the game with the lower body injury. So it's good that Quillen came back. For his first NHL game, he was noticeable. He was getting in on the forecheck. He was playing some good defense as well, and he was involved. You heard his name called out a couple times as well, too. So that fourth line was a little bit noticeable. They only had 2.5 minutes average between the three of them. Look for them to get a little bit more ice time. But, again, just that momentum, right? And, luck. You saw the goal by Stützle there. It was a 4-on-3. Camp has to go back because he has no stick. He has to go get his stick from the bench, and that's the new evolution of the National Hockey League. They tell you when you don't have a stick, go get it because, you don't want to be stuck there without your sword on the battlefield, and ended up opening up a passing lane for Stützle to bury to tie the game up. So, again, this Ottawa team, we said at the beginning of the game here on the broadcast about discipline being the best penalty killer, through 20 minutes, not good enough. And you don't want to give them 6 on the night because they have the ability and the talent and the power play, to really, really hurt you. So, yeah, they didn't really stick to the game plan through 20 minutes, but tied 1-1, I would take that on the road, even though it sounds like a home game, through the radio.
That's right, it does. There's a lot of blue and white in that Canadian Tire Center, for sure. I would look at it this way. I mean, Ottawa pushed, and you knew they would. We've detailed this. They haven't scored in 2 games. I think the shutout streak was 147 minutes, so you knew they were going to find a way. And I guess the way to sum it up in a positive nature is they weated the storm, didn't they? The Leafs.
You mean Ottawa?
No,
or
the
Toronto?
Leafs did. The Leafs
did.
Yeah.
Sorry, yes. The Leafs did. And, the shots, I think, were in favor of Toronto before they took that penalty, and Ottawa on that first power play did get 3 shots and then just started to build on top of there, too. And Toronto, I think, had a couple times where they could have got out of the zone with an exit fairly easily, and they turned the puck over, too. So they have to manage the puck a little bit better. But they did weather the storm. This Ottawa team, they're known as the pesky Sens. They can get it on the forecheck. I saw Sanderson jumping in on the rush a couple times, too. Their D are not afraid to activate. They have a lot of liberos out there, so it's not an easy game in any sense of this word, in any sense of the word. They're not afraid to put up points. They're not afraid to really, push the pace and turn it into a bit of a track meet. So good job on Toronto weathering that storm, as you mentioned. They blocked some big shots. McCabe, Tanev. I think I even saw Holmberg block one as well, too. So not bad, not the best, but I'll take it. I'll take it through the first period here.
And on the goal, Wall just didn't get over fast enough. It was a good play. He was sort of in the center of the crease and then tried to get over, but it was a short side goal. I think it actually went off the inside of the post. But he made some saves. When you watch him play, when he goes down, you're thinking, but he's resilient physically, so no issue there.
Yeah, I was going to text you, but I didn't want to jinx it. It looked like he went down early in the first period. I'm like, he looks like he's laboring a little bit. I'm like, what is that guy? What is that? Hopefully he'll be okay, but he didn't really show any wear and tear from that. Where he made a couple big saves, a couple half breakaways, guys activating, getting across, and on that one that went in, you can't really fault him because it essentially was a 4-on-2. So if he's cheating for that T push, it really gives that shooter up top to really pull the trigger there. So he has to really front that shot. So I know he anticipated, as Stützle is one of the options on that power play, and I think a split second earlier he could have gotten over, but then it's just going to give up that lane for him to get the shot. It's tough on a 4-on-2. You got to say your prayers and and eat your Flintstone vitamins, and hopefully you can get it. But I'm sure he'd play it the exact same way if he had the chance.
Nylander obviously knows where the breakaway zone is, right? I mean, he had another opportunity there. Jeez.
I think he had 1.5. I'll give him 1.5. And again, he's a guy that's not afraid to blow the zone. And what that does, though, I think it's going to now keep Ottawa's D honest, where they're going to be gapping back, where I can see now through the final really now creating space for the Toronto Florids now to skate the puck to the neutral zone. So that's much as you want to get those breakaways. It's just, keeping those D back on their heels, pushing them back to create that space. So, good job on Willie. And, he easily could have had two there. And, he cut in on, I believe it was Shabbat maybe there. He almost got there on the backhand. It was a good play. He's moving. He's pushing the pace. He's dialed in as well, too. The Matthews line played great as well.
It's tied at 1 after 20 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
At last, the Subaru winter is here. It's the perfect weather for the beach. Feel the sun's rays on the small amount of skin peeking out of your ski mask. Put on your beach puffer and hear the sound of the waves crashing over the chatter of your teeth. Get out there in winter like it's summer with standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and advanced safety systems. Visit your local Subaru dealer today.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
I don't want to say I'm a big deal, but I am a superhero. I love helping people consolidate their debts, and that's what I did for the Smiths. I took their bills and zoom, wha-bam, zap, turn them into one low monthly payment. No, the sound's not necessary, but it's part of the fun.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp now for free information on how to get started today. InventHelp provides invention services that help everyday inventors get started with their idea. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. Our services include professional materials needed to showcase your invention and 3D animation and prototype modeling that help you demonstrate your idea. Get down to the details of your idea with a technical drawing. The InventHelp Databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Take advantage of the opportunity to get started today.
Call 1-800-353-6013. That's 1-800-353-6013. Again, 1-800-353-6013.
Your sneakers are staring directly at you. You try to look away, but you can't. You're laced to face. They're saying, Rome wasn't built in a day, and your six-pack won't be either. But you've got to start somewhere. Stop staring. Put us on. Take that first step, or lunge, or squat. Start small. Start somewhere. Join for $7.99 every 2 weeks at fitforless.ca and experience fitness simplified. Some conditions apply. Fit for Less. Everybody happy.
You're listening to the Intermission Show on the home of the blue and white on the Leafs Radio Network.
The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. You don't have to go to town for a great new Tundra RAV4 gas or hybrid. Maple Toyota has them in stock and ready to deliver. Visit mapletoyota.com. Second period, Kings and Jackets tied at 1. Likewise, Lightning and Red Wings are scoreless. In the first, Canes 2-0 over the Islanders. New players not on the score sheet. End of the first, it is Stars 2-0 over the Blues. End of the first, Devils 2-0 over the Canadiens. And also after 20 minutes of play, it is the Flames and Wild tied at 1. Earlier today, Boston 3-1 over the Avs. Kraken got by the Penguins 4-1. Oilers 3-2 over the Sabres. Starting later tonight, Predators in Anaheim, Panthers in San Jose, and the Canucks hosting the Washington Capitals. In our game, it's tied at 1 after 20 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Four teams remain on the road to Super Bowl 59. It all starts with the NFC Championship when the Washington Commanders take on the Philadelphia Eagles.
Touchdown! Saquon Barkley!
And then it's the AFC Championship when the Buffalo Bills take on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mahomes tries to throw. Touchdown!
Hear coverage leading up to Championship Sunday and post-game reaction and interviews on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the SiriusXM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gore, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Coaches are probably yelling an expletive, right? About, whatever, how that particular trend is going. So you're right. So far, it's like perfect.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Bray Hudson here with an important announcement. You can listen to your favourite SiriusXM FC shows on the all-new SiriusXM app, now available for all subscribers.
Leafs won and the Ottawa Senators won as we head to the second period, which is brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian Ultra, Export, or XL, there's a Molson with your name on it. And one of the stats that is a bit disconcerting for the Leafs is they've been odd man rushes. The Senators had 3 and the Leafs had a zippo.
Well, yeah, and to me, it's been more the number of times Ottawa's dumped the puck in, Leafs have full possession, and end up turning the puck over. You see Ottawa defense is very active coming down the boards. So the Leafs try to ring it around the boards. You've got that defenseman roaring down the boards, trying to keep it in, and the Leafs have found themselves back on their heels a little bit. So I know it's kind of one of those high-danger plays to try to tip it or throw it to the face-off circle and have support to get it out. But the Leafs have got to try to figure something out because Ottawa's been all over them on the forecheck and probably have generated most of their opportunities off that, other than, as you said, the 3 odd-man rushes that have gone the other way.
So the Leafs outchanced in the first period, opened the scoring on a goal by Bobby McMahon, and having McMahon score has been a bit of a good luck charm.
Well, I don't know. Do we want to mention this? Because whenever you mention somebody's been playing well or somebody's had a shutout, I think they're 11-0-1 when McMahon has scored on the road.
All right. Leafs to the left, Senators to the right. Leafs get the puck down into Ottawa territory. Riley launches a shot well wide of the goal. It'll come around the boards to the near side. Ridley Gregg gets it to the line and just out. And then flipped down deep into Toronto territory. Gregg falls down as he was trying to get in around back of the net. And Morgan Riley has found Pontus Holmberg, who has flipped the puck high to center ice where Marner settles. Left wing side, McMahon, and a shot whistled off the blocker of Forsberg wide of the goal. Stützle comes back the other way to the line and in with Tkachuk. A shot that is snared by the left hand of goaltender Joseph Woll, and a face-off will come in the Toronto zone to his right.
Great news, though, when we talked about it for a long stretch for Woll's play this year, you're saying he's been good, but not quite the level that we saw him at last year, which goes to the 2 wins he had in the playoffs against Boston. And a week ago, even though he gives up 3 against Montreal, he gives up 3 against Tampa on Monday. I think he's been outstanding. Like, he's looked, and tonight included, like the guy that was so good for long stretches last year.
Yep. Not sure where now we got back in and a shot taken there. Big rebound off Forsberg. No one there to do any damage with it. Tkachuk with it now in his own zone. Trying to play it out at center, and he has, and it'll be launched down into the Toronto end. Tanev hustling back to the loose puck. Took a hit there on the boards from Stützle. Stützle after it along the wall, sends it behind the Toronto goal, but Tanev is there in the near corner, and he starts out with a long lead pass on the left wing. Domi just getting it down into the zone. Holmberg up against the boards, waiting for teammates to be exchanged. Nylander steps into his man. The puck goes high in the air. Grabbed off now by Pontus Holmberg. Can't shoot it at the net. Gives it off now for Benoit. Benoit centers in front of the goal, and it didn't quite reach Lorenz, who had a great opportunity if he was able to corral that puck. Now Nylander in on the left wing. Holmberg down into the corner. Ridden off there by Matenpalo. It comes to the side of the Ottawa goal, where it's quickly cleared ahead by Tyler Clevin and played high to the Leafs zone and then volleyballed out into neutral ice to Robertson, and that is a glove pass that has been whistled dead and will be brought back into the Toronto end.
What I liked the best about that last play was Philip Myers comes roaring down the right wing boards to keep the puck in on a pinch.
Good pass by Domi, and Holmberg got the shot on goal. It hit Forsberg, and he had no real idea where it was. And fortunately, it bounced away, and there's the shot now at the other end, and it's deflected wide of Wall's cage. Played to the line, but not out. Stützle keeping it in. Left wing side, Sanderson. Sanderson stops up, goes across to the right wing side. Stützle with a shot. That went wide, and it's going to carry him all the way out and down into Ottawa territory, forcing Sanderson back to the puck. Sanderson taken off the disc there by Robertson, but his defense partner, Artem Zub, is there to take it. And now Sanderson has it, and a bank pass gets out at center and played into Toronto territory. Wall gives it off to his defense, and circling back is McCabe to get it to Marner. Marner, left wing side, brought out now for McMahon. Too far for him. Almost stolen by Matthews. And the Senators will play it to the line, but stolen back by Marner. His pass was blocked. Carrying into the zone, though, is Tanev to get it in deep. McMahon coming out of the corner. McMahon thinks about shooting, goes to the left point, sent back onto the near side for Tanev, but knocked out of the air nicely by Shabbat. Shabbat leads the rush now for Ottawa. Shabbat with a pass in, and it was deflected wide by Amadio. McMahon gets the puck out. Marner's in across the line by himself as he sends it towards the front of the net. And a penalty coming here for hooking.
I think it was Ridley Gregg on Austin Matthews who was driving the net.
So the Leafs are going to go to their first power play opportunity of the game. And it's brought to you by your Ontario Subaru dealers. Enjoy winter to the fullest with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today.
Yeah, it is in fact Gregg going to go as Matthews, even though the penalty was being called, Matthews was still screaming at the official. And it's officially going to be holding the stick. With 16:32 to go here in the second period, Leafs first man with the extra advantage. Or first time with the extra man advantage.
There you go.
That. Yeah.
Try that first. Marner off a face-off win to Matthews. Down into the corner it goes for Nylander. Lots of traffic in front. Nylander works around back of the net. McMahon stationed right in front of the goal. It comes back to the point. Back to Nylander. Back it comes to Marner. Now to Willie. Nylander with a shot. Stop. McMahon corrals the rebound. Gives it back to Nylander. Nylander in front for Domi. Back it comes to the point. Matthews. Back it goes to Marner. Marner down low for Domi. His shot is high and over top of the goal, and it's going to be cleared out and down the ice by Ottawa. Quickly back up for Marner, though. Marner wants to try and catch some of them napping there as they weren't able to exchange the entire penalty-killing unit. Down in along the boards, back of the net, though, and now Zub has an opportunity to get it out, and he does, getting it to the line, but quickly brought back by Nylander. Here's Matthews trying to find Willie, and it was knocked away. Nylander took his man down, but no penalty. Ottawa fans upset by that as Marner sends a shot in, and it's going off a stick and up into the screen.
Well, it sure looked like Nylander should have got a tripping penalty there, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Ian Matthews coming into the zone. We're going to watch it again. Well, yeah, I mean, Sanderson does step on Nylander's stick. That's sort of a big step and turn to his right.
Are you In charge of your stick or in charge of your skate?
I think maybe they're going to say, look, the stick was there first.
Yeah, maybe. Well, there was no call, so I'm assuming that's how they adjudicated it. Tie up in front of the goal, and it is quickly shot down the ice by Ottawa. And hustling in there after it was Pinto. He's taken it to the boards and created a bit of a problem as the Leafs now come out with it. And now Oliver Ekman-Larsson comes through center. He's going to drop it back for Riley. Riley up on the left wing for Robertson and along the boards for Nylander. Back to the point. Picked off there by Pinto, and he's working down on the right wing side, trying to work in front of the goal, and it was knocked away. Sorry, that was Amadio, not Pinto. 22, not 12. Shot out and down the ice by Ottawa, and the penalty is going to expire without the Leafs regaining the lead. 1-1 is our score. Now Nylander cutting in over the line, tried to work his way clear, and then a lead pass to get it ahead to Gregg, who is coming out of the penalty box. Didn't connect. Leafs with it back in their own zone. Sent down into Ottawa territory. Zub gets it up on the wing and pushed out in center. And now here's Stützle. One-on-one with Kanev, and he couldn't get around him. Kanev playing it back. Now a centering pass in front. What a save made by Wall. All alone was Drake Batherson. And Wall had to come across and make sure there was no 5-hole. And he did just that.
Boy, Joseph Wall, that's about 5 saves tonight that look like sure goals from the Senators. A great pass from Sanderson, who had jumped down low, bottom of the left wing faceoff circle. And then he looks and relays it to the front of the net to Batherson. And Wall, not only did he have to get over quickly, he had to read that play. He had to know the man was open. And he was able to get over. Batherson hasn't scored in his last 7.
Marner shooting the puck into the left wing corner for McMahon. Got it back, and a centering pass by Matthews didn't connect with Marner. Now Matthews in the corner and around back of the net. Looks to work out. Now gets it into the slot, and a one-timer taken by Marner was stopped by Forsberg. Cleared high to center ice and down into the Leaf end. Pulling his way is Highmore. Good play by Matthews to block it. And then a centering pass goes all the way out into the center ice area. Played back by the Leafs and in over the line for Matthews. On the wing and a wrist shot off a leg, deflects back of the net. Matthews comes out with it. Rolled it through the blue paint. No one can get a stick on it to tap it home. Kept in at the point now by Myers. On the boards for Camp. Can't get it in front. David Camp works the boards, and it's poked free and played out at center ice, and Myers is going to get there first for Toronto. Myers getting it up on the wing. Lorenz sends it in deep for Camp. Camp back of the goal, unable to reach the puck. Timmins on the near boards, can't keep it in, and it's out at center ice. And onto the left wing for Batherson, and Stützle then, and his shot was deflected wide of the goal as it's poked out into neutral ice. Clevin will shoot it back in for Ottawa. Morgan Riley around on the boards, misfired for Myers. Trying to get it out is Reeves without success. Myers tries it again. Took a pretty good elbow there to the head as a long pass comes to center, and Timmins was knocked down on the play, Lorenz was knocked down on the play and couldn't get it into the offensive zone. Nylander on the near boards. Lost it. Back down into Toronto territory. Philip Myers gets it into neutral ice. Nylander slowly across the line. A little rolling shot. No problem for Forsberg. Senators get it back out into the center ice area, but Tanev has it under control in the Toronto zone to defense partner Ekman-Larsson, who shoots it down. Icing waved off by the linesman. The Leafs keep the puck into the offensive zone. Back of the net for Domi. Domi centering pass into the slot, a shot. That was up. Where is it? Forsberg thought it had gone into the corner, but he had it underneath his pad, and he almost kicked it into his own goal.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that ended up. But the worst thing for Forsberg was he pushed off trying to find it. This might have been... Did this go into his jersey?
Might have.
Down the neck? Because he turned and pushed, and sometimes that's when the puck's going to pop loose.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Jan owns a home and a restaurant fusing French and Mexican cuisine. But she is fusing no more because her ovens have gone kaput. She called Alpine Credits, who sent their speedy superhero. With her business loan approved, her ovens were quickly fixed. The hero even had some of her poutine nachos. Yum! Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just realize.
What's up, hockey fans? How we doing tonight? It's Hockey Night in Canada, our favorite night of the week. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight and chatting it up, cheering on our Maple Leafs as we go for the win in the Battle of Ontario. Really appreciate every single one of you hitting that like button. As well, please share out this link. Let's get more hockey fans here in the chat to cheer on our buds and bounce back after that tough one against the Blue Jackets the other night. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Thanks for keeping it classy. Go Leafs, go. Let's get the win tonight.
We're funding and discovering medical breakthroughs to keep you and your loved ones alive. But we need all the help we can get. Go to heartandstroke.ca today. And together, we'll beat heart disease, beat stroke, and beat as one.
Leafs won and the Ottawa Senators won. Second period action from the Canadian Tire Center in Canada.
I believe the Leafs are actually out shooting Ottawa 6-1 in this period. You certainly remember the one shot Ottawa had, don't you?
Yes, you do. Draw is scrummed. It goes around back of the Ottawa goal. Zub punching it along the boards. McMahon is able to come away with it back of the net, banking it back to the point, and McCabe can't keep it in. Morgan Riley playing it off the boards to center. McCabe bats at it. Riley has it again in his own zone. Up on the left wing, McMahon to Marner. Stops up. Marner looking across ice to find Riley. Tried to chip it in along the boards to McMahon, but that was broken up, and then Marner almost stole it there from Shane Pinto, who was coming across the blue line. Morgan Riley taken to the boards as the puck comes free, and McCabe gets it off the boards and down into Ottawa territory. Travis Hamonic back for it to get it up on the wing. Lead pass by Shabbat and a whistle at the Toronto blue line.
Maybe offside. Brady Tkachuk doesn't agree with whatever the call is.
Is coming back into the Ottawa zone as a result. Leafs will return home and host the Minnesota Wild as they get a couple of days off here. That's not till Wednesday.
We get some bodies back by next time out.
Hope so. Senators win the face-off. Got it to the Leaf blue line. Chris Tanev was able to knock it free. Tanev with it now, getting it ahead. Brought through center by David Camp to the line. And Robertson may have stepped in just a half stride early. And that'll bring a stoppage of play on the offside.
Not to take away from being creative, but this line show is going to dump it in and go get it. Understand you might get a little more leeway if it's Matthews and Marner. But I think you've seen the Ottawa Senators had success in the opening period. Just dump and chase. Instead, you had Nick Robertson kind of straddling the line, waiting to see what David Kampf was going to do with it.
Senators control the face-off, bank it off the near boards out at center to the Leaf blue line. Ekman Larsson is there for Domi. A pass finds Holmberg, now to Nylander. Nylander faked the shot, then tried to keep the puck in, but failed. And the Senators get it out at center ice. Ridley Gregg in over the line, but it's offside. And it'll be brought back into the center ice area as Bo Giroux is a non-believer, but...
And there's been a lot of offers for the Ottawa Senators. We mentioned, being shut out in back-to-back games, but Brady Tkachuk pointless in 9. Giroux has not scored in his last 12. It's been 7 for Batherson since he scored. And Tim Stützle broke a 3-game pointless drought with a goal in the first period.
The Gooch And back of the Ottawa bench, Travis Green. He was part of one of the more famous events in the Ottawa arena when Darcy Tucker came to his aid and tried to go into the bench after people. Here the Senators in across the line. Into the slot for Stützle. Goes wide, got a shot, and coming over to take that short side away was Joseph Wall and Tkachuk and Benoit and Domi in there again. The ongoing conversationalists have been Tkachuk and Domi.
I tell you, if I could get a hold of one video that I would love to sit with a case of beer and a bag of popcorn and watch, it's the Tkachuk brothers' home videos growing up.
Super 8.
Oh, wow.
All right. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 of the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Join a magical mystery tour through the sounds of Beatlemania.
The music that changed everything and the stories behind the songs.
Every day was like living 10 years.
From Liverpool
to Abbey Road
and beyond.
I'm John. I'm Paul. I'm George.
I'm Ringo. The Beatles Channel, Sirius XM 18. And at home on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Playing in the Four Nations face-off for Team USA, Connor Hellebuck.
How do you feel about getting a chance to play for USA?
The type of hockey it's going to be fun. There's going to be some high-pressure games. You're going to be putting your country's jersey on. You're representing your country. I think we're going to have a great fan base around us, and I'm really looking forward to what it brings.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. From in the crease to in the locker room.
Four Nations Team Canada face-off associate GM Jim Nill. You as a manager view goaltending going into the tournament in February.
We're talking about two of the guys that won Stanley Cups and play in those type of pressure games. That's a pretty good resume to have. So we're pretty confident with it and pretty confident with the team that we're going to have playing in front of them.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app.
Ray Hudson here with an important announcement. You can listen to your favourite Sirius XM FC shows on the all-new Sirius XM app, now available for all subscribers.
1-1 tie, second period. Leafs get the puck airmailed high to center ice. It bounces down into the Ottawa zone. Montepallo got it to center, brought in on the right side now by Highmore with a shot, and that was stopped. The rebound played back of the net by Chris Tanev. Ekman-Larsson getting it elevated through center ice, a bouncing puck that Robertson couldn't get to, but it's a delayed offside, and he's going to have to tag up. Sens get it up on the left wing. Broken up there by Robertson at the Toronto blue line. Sent back the other way. Good hit there. Quillen was taken to the boards. And it is played around on the boards on the near side. And then good hit by Pontus Holmberg in the corner. Or maybe, that was Fraser Minton who got in there. And now we get an offside at the blue line. And knocked down was Benoit. Was he kind of interfered with at the line?
Usually it goes the other way around, doesn't it? Where the defending player gets called at interference. But I don't think we're going to have any more on the penalty side there. 14-13, the shots favoring the Ottawa Senators. And as we've said, here in the third period, Ottawa's just had 2 shots on goal. There's a big save by Wall and Bathurst, and then a pretty difficult stop on Stützle as well.
Leafs have liked playing in Ottawa. Mainly because the rink is filled with Leaf fans. It's back to the point. You can hear them chanting. Giroux getting it back to the point, then return. Giroux works back towards the blue line. Still with it. Mirrored there by Reeves. Leafs fourth line out on the ice. A centering pass knocked away by Wall. Kept alive by Ottawa. Sent down into the corner now. Another shot coming. Knocked down by Wall. The puck in the corner for Giroux. Giroux trying to get it back to the point. It does, and the Leafs are kind of running around here and not getting anywhere near the puck. Into the corner once more. Back of the goal for Hamonic. Centering pass off the stick. Reeves needs to get there to get it out, and he doesn't. Kept alive on the near boards. Trapped there and sent by Gregg to the point, and finally the Leafs get it to center, but they can't get it further down in order to get a change of players going. Sent back in around back of the net. Now they will. Riley, long lead pass ahead for Reeves. That didn't work. Ryan Reeves is the right winger, and he's been on here for a bit. Leafs back in their own zone. Played it off the boards. Minute 27, Reeves has been out there. Now Minton trying to work it back up ice. He's been on for the same amount of time. He gets to center ice and got it in, but not deep. Played back in over the line. The referee got in the way of a pass to keep the play alive for Ottawa. Pushed up on the wing now for McMahon. McMahon launches it into neutral ice. Matthews got it in over the line, trying to get around Zub. That could have been interference. And played on off the boards, and Marner couldn't come up with it. And now it's gone high, off his stick and up into the screen. With 7:09 to play here in the second period. And the Maple Leafs and the Senators are deadlocked at a goal.
The fourth line looked like it was on the penalty kill, wasn't it? Everybody was sort of collapsed back. Senators passing all around the box until eventually it was taken to the net. Joseph Wall had to make another difficult stop from about 3 feet.
7:09 left to play here in the second period. Draw one by Toronto. Myers for Marner. Wrist shot coming, but it's well wide of the goal. McMahon unable to track it on the far side. Does get it back, though. He has it back to the point. A shot coming. And that was drilled off the stick of Myers. Deflected high into the screen.
Like that mentality, get everything to the net. But we've talked about it before. The Leafs, from a defensive side, don't have that gifted player that can get pucks through. And a lot of times, the toughest guy to get it through is the first guy.
First guy, exactly, yep. Myers probably has the hardest shot. But, again, that's the issue. Not getting it through. Accuracy with it. That is a real skill, though. And the great ones all had it.
You don't see a lot of slap shots from the blue line anymore, do you? I mean, you'll see it on the one-timers from the circles. You don't see that Al McGinnis wind up and hammer it anymore.
Puck back in the Toronto zone as an errant pass came down into the neutral zone. Now played along the boards and shot by Ottawa into the Toronto end. Wall getting it for Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who got it out. Now the Sens waiting for teammates to get onside to shoot it back in. And it is Ekman-Larsson again getting it up on the wing, but that was cut off there by Stützle. Stützle centering pass off a stick. Leafs trying to push it up on the wall. Ekman-Larsson got tangled up and couldn't make a pass. Now ties up his man. Domi knocks his man to the ice. And Nylander plays it out and down and now races after it. Willie down the right wing boards, but it's deep into the corner. Played it in around the wall to the far side. Kept alive and back of the net. Nylander tried to chip it in front. Forsberg had no idea where he was. And now it is HNIC getting it up on the wing, but Marner is there. Leafs in the midst of a change. Pontus Holmberg heading for the bench now. Pass comes back to McCabe. McCabe into the slot for Riley. Riley on the wing. A shot taken by McMahon was wide. McCabe with the rebound. Back it goes to Marner. Return to McCabe. Near half boards. Works back across, looking for a man, but out of the air, knocked down by Ostapchuk, but he doesn't get it out. Marner in, and then Ostapchuk took it away from him again. Stützle will get it to center, and Batherson sends it deep into the Toronto zone. Batherson works out of the corner. Back to the point it comes. Sanderson with a weak shot. That was blocked. Marner tipping it ahead, and Bobby McMahon is in on the right side with one man back. Closes with a pass in. Matthews tipped it. No, it was Riley who tipped it.
I tell you, earlier, right before Ottawa had the rush back the other way, I thought Morgan Riley got drilled on a play that could have been interference and allowed the Ottawa Senators back the other way once they got the puck.
Still a 1-1 tie. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Ah, at last, the Subaru winter is here. It's the perfect weather for the beach. Feel the sun's rays on the small amount of skin.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. Wait, where's the webcam button? There it is. Hey, what's up, Leafs fans? Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight here on TSI. We are going after that plaque right there. We're going after 100,000 insiders.
In the final quarter of the day, we have 55 left to... What's that?
Is that a new donor?
It's a new donor.
We're at 396. Only 54 left to go.
This is the 450 challenge. Let's get Canada's blood pumping.
Book an appointment today at blood.ca/450.
Leafs won and the Senators won. Second period action from Canadian Tire Center.
The Montreal Canadiens are losing. Boston Bruins won this afternoon, beating Colorado 3-1. Just 15 shots on goal for the Bruins in the win.
Draw to the right in the Ottawa zone, won by Toronto. Nylander to the point. Wrist shot taken there by Benoit. An easy save for... Now Benoit gets a slapper away, and that took down one of the Senator players. Here's Myers down low and into the corner for Camp. To the far side for Nylander. Back behind the goal for Camp. Bank pass comes back to the point. Leafs trying to hem things in here. Benoit for Myers. Myers sends it towards the net, but it's knocked down by Ottawa. Banked off the glass, but not cleared. Myers keeping it in. Played by Robertson. Back it goes to Camp. To the right wing side, a shot. And that deflected just wide. Senators get the puck out into neutral ice finally, and they're going to shoot it in on goal, and that's blockered away by Wall. 4:15 to play, second period. Game tied 1-1, all of the scoring in the first. Bobby McMahon for the Maple Leafs, and Stützle for Ottawa. Sens working back in their own end. Shane Pinto hits it off on the far side. HNIC regrouping the puck as it finally comes to center, and the Leafs unable to get to it as it's backhanded down into the Toronto zone. Ekman Larsson working it up on the wing. A pass through center, off a stick into Ottawa territory, forces the defense back, and Shabbat gets it to his defense partner, and a lead pass comes to center. Carrying on in over the line now is Shane Pinto. Centering pass off a Leaf skate, but then a turnover. Pinto with it again, sending it around back of the net. The puck comes around to the near side. Marner couldn't get to it. Gobbled up there by Amadio. Amadio gets it back to the point. Senators with a shot. That's blocked. Matthews with it back of the goal. Couldn't find Jake McCabe. And McCabe is able to bank it out at center. Marner tipping it the rest of the way into Ottawa territory.
Well, that all started when Marner tried to force the play up the middle of his own end. And the Senators were able to cut it off.
Stützle across the line, dropping it off far side. David Perron goes around back of the net. One of the Sens took a tumble there as it comes back to the blue line. Kept in by Ottawa. Stützle trying to work out of the corner. Being held on there by Pontus Holmberg, but the pass was knocked away, and Nylander is able to knock it out at center before it's shot back in again by Ottawa. Leafs under control now as Nylander starts out. He stick handles to center, sends a long shoot in that is knocked away by Forsberg. Leafs get the puck back into the slot area. Myers sending it towards the net. That was stopped by Forsberg. Zoom plays it up on the boards. Nylander came out of the scrum with it momentarily. Still has it. Can't get it back to the blue line. Still has it, though. Still with it. Dishes off on the left wing for Benoit. Benoit goes deep and around back of the goal. Gets it back to his defense partner. Myers pumps it back from whence it came. Minute 55 to go in the period. Leafs have it back of the goal, and the Leaf fans are chanting it up. Almost stolen from Sanderson by Marner from behind. The Sens do get it to center ice. McMahon works it back into his own zone to the defense. Benoit back for Bobby McMahon. In over the line, dropping it there for Marner. Marner banks it back of the goal, looking for Matthews that didn't connect. And the Sens will get it up on the wing. Pinto trying to move with it, couldn't. Played right back down into Ottawa territory. Marner after it along the boards. Marner trying to get it away from Sanderson, goes back of the net. Zub having difficulties now with Lorenz, who's into the forecheck. And it is finally flipped high and too high. Oh, no, not too high. Thought it was going into one of the benches, but it didn't. Minute to go. Tied at ones. Tanev plays it off a stick into Ottawa territory. No, apparently not off the stick. Going to be called icing. And it's coming back into the Toronto zone as a result.
I think we got the shots now at 17 apiece, so Ottawa Senators outshot the Leafs 12-6 in the opening period. Leafs have turned the tables here. And yet, probably the best scoring opportunities. I mean, Batherson was by far the best. Big save by Joseph Wall on him early in the second period.
Leafs have had a better second, though. And another icing coming here as it was misfired up on the far wing. It'll come all the way back into Ottawa territory. Or, excuse me, into Toronto territory.
At least to this point, it won 54% of the draws. Willie Nylander's taken 4 of them. He's won all 4.
Camp will face off against Tkachuk. And the Leafs control the face-off, but Tkachuk gets to the puck in the corner. That pushes it to an open corner. Tanev getting there first to backhand it ahead, and it's out at center. Leafs have an odd man rush here. Here's Kemp with Robertson. Tried to take a one-timer, and it was knocked away, and it's cleared out at center ice. Tkachuk can't get in over the line cleanly. Leafs bank it ahead for Robertson again. Robertson in on the right side. Stops it up, tried to play it into the corner and in front of the net, but it was off a stick. And Stützle, with a dozen seconds left now, gets it to center ice. Brought in over the line by Shabbat. Right wing side, Tkachuk. Tkachuk holds, sends it to the net, knocked down in front. 4 seconds left, and the Leafs will just play it up on the wing to get it out, and that will end the period.
Boy, unfortunately for Nick Robertson, that pass was just in his skates as he tried to one-time it on that 2-on-1 with David Kampf. Kampf made the right play, kind of pulled up on Shabbat, let Robertson get set, and he kind of airmailed it a little too much too, didn't he?
A little saucered pass that you hope would sit flat for him, but it was a little bit in the air when it got to him. At any rate, it's a goaltender's battle, a 1-1 tie between the Sens and the Leafs. And Stewie and Taddy are along for the intermission. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Tennis fans, the first Grand Slam of the year, the 2025 Australian Open, is upon us. Sirius XM will take you to Melbourne for every game, set, and match. Here's Sirius XM's coverage of the 2025 Australian Open on ESPN Extra, Channel 81, and on the Sirius XM app. If you love tennis, your center court is Sirius XM.
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gore, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Cheers, insiders! Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight for the Leafs against the Senators on Hockey Night in Canada, as well the Raptors and the Hawks in Atlanta doing it again. A big win for the Raps last game. Let's see if we can do it again tonight. This is your public service announcement. make sure you are here hanging out with us on Toronto Sports Insider tomorrow evening for the AFC Championship game. We need every single Toronto Maple Leafs fan and Toronto Raptors fan here in the chat cheering on the Buffalo Bills against the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. We got to get to the Super Bowl. Let's go Bills, go Leafs, go! We the North, go Raptors. We'll see you all back in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Devils head coach Sheldon Keefe, you decided to jump right back into it.
New Jersey Devils reached out really within an hour or so of the news coming out of me being let go. And the more I got to know Tom and his vision for the team and seeing the situation, it was a tremendous opportunity that I couldn't let pass by.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter. Haaland scored the hat-trick.
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
From in the crease to in the locker room.
Four Nations Team Canada face-off associate GM Jim Nill. You as a manager view goaltending going into the tournament in February.
You know, we're talking about two of the guys that won Stanley Cups and play in those type of pressure games. That's a pretty good resume to have. So we're pretty confident with it and pretty confident with the team that we're going to have playing in front of them.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
You're listening to the Intermission Show on the home of the blue and white on the Leafs Radio Network. Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
And it's still tied at 1 after 40 minutes of play. TSN After 40 brought to you by 241 Pizza. Give yourself a high five. Buy any large traditional pizza and get up to 3 medium one-topping pizzas for $5 each. 241pizza.com. Jim Taddy and Anthony Stewart with you. Stu, would you buy into it was the reverse of the first period with no goals?
I would think so. I could see Toronto tightened up a little bit, especially in the neutral zone. Shots were 6-1 through the first 10 minutes. Yeah. Ottawa only finished the period with 5 shots for a total of 17 to Toronto with 12 for a total of 18 as well, too. So they really, I think, tilted the ice a little bit in their favor. But for me, I like to see a little bit more shots and penetration to the middle here. A lot of shots from the outside led by Bobby McMahon, who's got 6 shots through 2 periods. William Nylander has 4. But, Austin Matthews and Marner, they only have 1 between the two of them. I think they need to find a way to get a little bit more, involved in crashing the net because the goaltender seems like he's dialed in. It doesn't seem like it's going to be an easy one. They had an opportunity on the power play to sort of take over that game. That was a bit of an air whopper, as we find adjectives to describe that. But, again, it's a game where it's, you're on the road, but the crowd is cheering for you. It's sort of going back and forth. It just seems like the game is for the taking. So for me, I expect Toronto in the third period to put together 2, 3, 4 shifts because they could easily be up 2 if they decide to, just sort of elevate their game by, 1 or 2 gears here.
Nylander had opportunities in the first, and I think Robertson had a couple towards the end of that second period. It just seems like there's cracks in the Ottawa coverage where you could spring a guy.
Yeah, for sure. And again, they have some highly talented defensemen on the back end, Sanderson, Shabbat, and but those guys are offensively minded. We're not saying they're cheating, but they're looking for the opportunity to jump in at any given moment. So if I'm Toronto, especially now we're a team that's looking for a win, I'm going to assume that they're going to try to cheat. They're going to try to cheat and not necessarily take it into overtime or shootout because I think they'd be at a disadvantage. So if I'm Toronto, just continue to methodically try to pick away. You saw Nylander pick his spots and trying to jump in and catch a breakaway, catch them flat-footed. So, but for me, I expect, maybe a little bit more from Matthews and Marner, that line tonight, and elevating, because I think, they could take over the game. They have the ability. If they put 2-3 shifts together like they did in the first period, they dominated. So that's the expectations going into the third. But again, they battled back in the shot department. They're still leading block shots 11-8. Wall has been amazing. He made a big save on Batherson there, where he came across the crease in front of the shot. Great job by him. So just one of those games where it feels more like a Monday night game, not a Saturday night, where it's a huge game for Ottawa as they're trying to get back into this wild card race.
Yeah, I mean, you almost feel like there's so much at stake that maybe Ottawa's being a little cautious. Having said that, here's a trick question for you. Who's the best Leaf so far after 40 minutes?
Oh, man. I was going to say McMahon. He does, he does have the 6 shots with 12 and a half minutes. But I would say Joseph Wall. Joseph Wall was dialed in. I was breathing a little heavy after that first period where he went down. He looked like he was a little bit tentative getting up, but he's been dialed in. He wasn't really counted upon many a times in that second period, but again, they had 2 or 3 legitimate scoring chances. So he's been dialed in. I think through 40, he's been the MVP so far.
So how is it that Austin Matthews has only 1 shot attempt and it didn't get through?
I don't know. Maybe they're revving up the plane for him to get back to Toronto.
It's just
right,
odd,
but,
isn't it?
Yeah, but remember, he's on a 5-game goal scoring streak, and I'm sure that he wants to, continue that too. But that is the thing is they have the talent. Where again, all it takes is 1 shot. All it takes is 1 break. So he's been a little bit quiet through 40 minutes, but again, it's usually when the microscope starts to shift in his direction. That's usually when he turns it on. But again, I noticed him getting it on the forecheck a couple times. He was getting a couple bumps, but I think for him, he's got to command the puck, command it, and volume. That's usually what he does. He picks apart the defense. Coming across the line, far shot, going behind the net, creating separation. Maybe finding a hole for a 1-T. So he's been a little bit quiet, but we know what that means. I think he's poised for a bigger third period as well.
So if you only allow 5 shots in goal in 1 period, you're not going to be worried about the blue line. How do you like the play of Riley and McCabe together?
Yeah, I think they've been fine, right? And I noticed Riley jumping up a little bit more because he has that safety valve in McCabe, and McCabe's done a great job in boxing out and exiting. We saw Tanev as well with that, great entry, breakout pass to, I believe it was Holmberg as well. So I think for Riley, not bad. He doesn't have any shots. He's 15 minutes. He's on pace for, I think, 23 or 24 minutes. He does have 1 block, but again, they got some good chemistry, and for them, I don't think it's about goals or assists or plus minus. I think they've been doing their job, and I think if they maybe get double shifted a couple times, I think they can elevate and take over this game as well.
What's your take on the kid Jacob Quillen, who's 7 shifts, 5.5 minutes?
Yeah, well, he almost, got taken out his first couple shifts there too. But, it's very, very nerve-wracking coming into Ottawa. Ottawa's like a big, big building. It's like, you're almost looking like Drago in Rocky, where he's coming in and seeing all the U.S. He's like, who's these guys dancing around? It could be a little bit nerve-wracking, but, 5.5 minutes playing with Ryan Reeves, and, I give him a B-. So not bad, but, again, we'll see how he does in the third as well.
Okay, Stu, thanks very much. It's tied at 1 after 40 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
Joe and Lucy needed a new roof and reached out to Alpine Credits. I flew over to help them with a home renovation loan. I suggested they transform their house into a giant robot head, beams that shoot from the eyes. Pew, pew! Instead, they just went with shingles. But it's pretty glorious.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
The 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid is here, and it may sound too good to be true. With a 2-liter 4-cylinder backed by 2 electric motors, giving a combined 200 horsepower, it's our most powerful and fuel-efficient Civic ever. Plus, with an estimated range of over 800 kilometers and available features like a Bose premium sound system, your crew will love it too. Huh, maybe it should be called the Civic 2.0. Redefine your drive with the 2025 Civic Hybrid. Visit your Ontario Honda dealer and test drive yours today.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must Must be legal drinking age.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp now for free information on how to get started today. InventHelp provides invention services that help everyday inventors get started with their idea. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. Our services include professional materials needed to showcase your invention and 3D animation and prototype modeling that help you demonstrate your idea. Get down to the details of your idea with a technical drawing. The InventHelp Databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Take advantage of the opportunity to get started today.
Call 1-800-353-6013. That's 1-800-353-6013. Again, 1-800-353-6013.
There you are, alone in your car, waiting at a red light. Suddenly, there she is, pressed against your window, holding a homemade cardboard sign. Can you really tell what it says about her? Don't let homelessness assumptions get in the way of homelessness solutions. Go to CanadaCanDoIt.ca. Help the Canadian Alliance to end homelessness.
You're listening to the Intermission Show on the home of the blue and white on the Leafs Radio Network.
The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. You don't have to go to town for a great new Tundra RAV4 gas or hybrid. Maple Toyota has them in stock and ready to deliver. Visit mapletoyota.com. Third period, Jackets 2-1 over the Kings. In the second, it is the Canes 2-1 over the Islanders. The rest are after 40 minutes. It is Detroit 1-0 over the Lightning. Stars 2-0 over the Blues. Flames 3-1 over the Wild. And it is the Canadiens losing to the Devils by a score of 3-2. Earlier today, Bruins 3-1 over the Avs. Kraken 4-1 over the Penguins. Oilers 3-2 over the Sabres. Tonight, Panthers in San Jose against the Sharks. Predators in Anaheim. Capitals visiting the Canucks. In our game, it's tied at 1 after 40 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Be a lifeline for Southern California by supporting the Red Cross wildfire relief effort. The American Red Cross is on the front lines, providing emergency shelter, food, water, and medical support to those affected. Together, we can make a difference. To donate, please visit redcross.org, call 1-800-RED-CROSS, or text CA Wildfires to 90999. That's redcross.org, 1-800-RED-CROSS, or text CA Wildfires to 90999.
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gore, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Coaches are probably yelling an expletive, right? About, whatever, how that particular trend is going. So you're right. So far, it's like perfect.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Joe Bowen along with Jim Ralph back here for the third period. Cameron Moore running the operation. Josh Polish pushing buttons. Everything working just as smooth as silk as the Leafs and the Senators are deadlocked at a goal apiece.
I just tried to look up the league average on giveaways, takeaways.
Okay.
And
how you doing?
Oh, not good. Right now it's showing Utah would have the highest number of giveaways per game at almost 17.
Mm-hmm.
And on the lower end of the scale, Buffalo Sabres, only 14.12. So let's say about 15 is the average. The Leafs have already given the puck away 15 times, according to these stats, and the Ottawa Senators have given away 12. And the reason I'm looking, obviously, is because it seems both teams have coughed the puck up a lot.
Yeah.
Especially in their own zone.
Now, not sure what we're hearing here, but anyway, we've had some audio problems getting things back from Ottawa here at our studio. But the Leafs in a 1-1 tie as the goals were all scored in the first period. Bobby McMahon, 346, his 14th from Marner and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. And then on a power play, a 4-on-3 power play, actually, which was a 4-on-2 power play because David Camp had his stick break. Stützle from Sanderson and Giroux to tie the game at 1s. And so that is where we stand. The Leafs had a better second period, outshooting Ottawa 12-5 in the second stanza.
It's after being outshot 12-6 in the opening 20 minutes. Still a little better, and yet I thought the best clear-cut opportunity was to the Ottawa Senators when Drake Batherson was alone at the top of the crease and Joseph Wall was great going post to post.
Now, we don't have any audio from the rink, so we'll press on without it, I guess, as it is brought back down into the Toronto zone. And now Morgan Riley trying to play it ahead, has it deflect down into the Ottawa zone. The Leafs defend the goal to the right, Ottawa to the left. Puck along the boards in the far corner. There we go. We got it back in the rink. All right. Amadio unable to get to it. Neither could Matthews. And the Sens work it out with Sanderson, launching it high into neutral ice and down into the Toronto zone. Morgan Riley got it ahead at center for Pontus Holmberg. Holmberg in across the line. On the wing for Domi, and his shot may have gone off the shoulder of Forsberg. He looked like he was in a little discomfort there. Leafs get it up on the wing, but it is knocked away from Nylander. Saucered back in along the boards, batted towards the net. Comes free now for Tanev, and Tanev will find his defense partner, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson has it. They'll give it to Nylander, who starts out. Nylander with his head up as he heads to the left wing boards and backhands around back of the goal. Tried to get back of the net and steal the puck back, and he did momentarily. Trying to get some help from Bobby McMahon. Matthews is stationed in front of the net. McMahon punching it back towards the point, and Benoit couldn't keep it in for him, and it's back into the offensive zone for Stützle. Rolls in on goal, and getting a couple of gloves down on top of that is goaltender Joseph Wall to stop play. Toronto Marlies win 4-3 in San Jose on their Western trip in the American Hockey League. That went right off the mask, I guess, of Forsberg, who was...
He gives his head a shake. That was, I guess, to see if his strap had been knocked loose.
Face off in the Leaf zone, won by Matthews. Played up on the wing. McMahon barges up at the blue line and is able to get it out into center ice. Marner unable to track it down. Sends in their own zone. Sanderson to his defense partner Zub. Got it ahead for Shane Pinto. He circles back. Pinto with it now. Working up on the right side. Gets to the Leaf line and in on the right wing. Taken to the boards there by Ekman-Larsson. Puck back at the net. Tanev after it. Got it freed up for OEL. And he gets it up on the boards, and the Leafs get it out and into neutral ice. Sanderson skating back for it. Jake Sanderson. And Zub exchanging the puck. Sanderson starts out with it. Zub takes his pass. Played it off the wing to the Leaf blue line. Chopped at there by Robertson, but not cleared. But now Myers has an opportunity to get it out, and he does to center. David Camp trying to get to the loose puck. but it just got away from him after he tipped it away from one of the Sabres right at the Ottawa blue line. Up against the end boards in the Ottawa zone now. Here's Lorenz getting it back to the point, just kept in and fired back around the boards. It'll come to the near side. Benoit pinches, has some backing behind it as the puck is up against the boards. Benoit trying to push it back. It comes into the slot area. Camp will try to keep it alive, and he does. David Camp down low and back of the net for Robertson. Robertson holds, still with it. Robertson bank pass into the corner. Back to the point to Morgan Riley. Riley on the wing with a shot right up. Big rebound. They bang away at it into the blue paint, and it's cleared by Ottawa.
Boy, Forsberg got spun around, and the puck almost slid with him into the net.
McCabe on the left wing sends it high into Ottawa territory. HNIC will get it around the boards to the near side, and David Perron gets it out now for Tkachuk. Tkachuk with a shot, and that was wide of the net. Played in around the boards now. The Leafs getting it off the wing and out at center ice. And down into the offensive zone. Nylander given a bit of a high stick there, waiting to get the puck and get back into the zone. Willie having difficulties on the boards and is now heading to the bench.
He almost got rabbit punched in the face.
Played in now by Shabbat, wearing the full facial shield after an injury, and now brought on by Ekman Larsson. He had it knocked away, cleared back down into Toronto territory. Leafs will go back, and Benoit has it to safety back of the goal. Now he starts out. Bag pass off the far boards to find Marner. Marner's pass was broken up. Brought in over the line, cleared back out, and then brought in offside by Ottawa. And a face-off will come in the neutral zone. Leafs with a couple of decent chances early on here in this third period as they are tied 1-1 with the Ottawa Senators.
Neither team is sharp, though, are they? You see it. There seems to be so many almost scoring chances, almost good plays. You like this when the David Camp had gone to the net, and he got a second opportunity and a rebound.
He and Lorenz were right there. 2 shots apiece thus far in the period. Myers got it up on the wing for Reeves. Reeves doesn't get it out. That comes back to the point. Giroux on the right wing side. A shot. Good blocker save made there off Manchapalo's stick. And another shot rings off the goalpost. The rebound on the near side, and it is launched by Minton through center, and a high stick knocks it down. And that'll bring a face-off again in the center ice area, and a change of players, one would think, as the face-off will come with 15:03 to play in the period.
Well, that fourth line spent way too much time in their own zone.
They've really struggled. They really have. And here's when you have all of these injuries, you can probably patch and mix up around the first 2 lines, and Bobby McMahon's a good example of that. But the trickle-down effect is where it really feels it. And you've got a young guy in Quillen who's never played in the league, playing in his first game. Ryan Reeves, who's never going to be a great stick handler. And then Fraser Minton as the Leafs get it in with a shot, and that went wide of the net. Puck comes up on the near boards. Sens get it out at center. A pass by Tkachuk. Karam's down wide of the goal. Punched around the wall, back of the net by goaltender Wall. And the Leafs get it out at center. Now Robertson. Robertson playing it in on the left wing, but David Camp had to slow up to prevent an offside and wasn't able to get to it. Now the Sens back in across the line. Chris Tanev breaks up the rush again. Boy, he is just a delight to watch. He gets it ahead to Austin Matthews. Matthews through center and across the line. Looking to keep a streak going in goal scoring is Austin Matthews. Puck along the boards and back of the net. Matthews still with it. Trying to dig it free on the boards. Got some help from Marner. And finally it is poked free. And the Sens try to work it up the boards, but broken up there by McMahon. But now the Sens do get it across the line. Highmore with a shot. That's blocked. The rebound was sent in front of the net. Matthews has started back with it. Got it ahead for Bobby McMahon. Left wing side, and the shot was way wide of the goal. Marner trying to get it back to the blue line. Did to Benoit. Back to Marner. Chipped in back of the net for Matthews. Return to Marner. Marner back to Matthews, coming around back of the goal. To Marner again, back pedaling to the blue line. Still with it. Into the slot. Matthews shooting! But he hit the crest of Anton Forsberg's jersey and stops play as he's able to corral the rebound.
Well, a pretty good give and go between Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. Ottawa takes away the points, so that frees up Matthew in the high slot. Matthews takes the pass from Marner, but can't put the Leafs ahead.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
I'm Katie Nolan, and I have a new podcast called Casuals. It's a podcast for people who like sports a normal amount. Casuals is a twice-a-week hang with me and my friends from across comedy, sports, and entertainment, where we talk about all the funny, weird, interesting stuff happening in and around the world of sports. So whether you're a diehard fan or just vaguely sports curious, Casuals is the podcast for you. You can find Casuals on the SiriusXM app, Pandora, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow the show so you never miss an episode. Give it a try. What's the worst that could happen?
NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gore, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Coaches are probably yelling an expletive, right? About, whatever, how that particular...
Cheers, Insiders! Thanks for hanging out with us tonight for the Toronto Maple Leafs game. A big shout out to all of the insiders here in the chat and everybody that's watching here on YouTube with us while we listen to the Leafs game. The best call in the business, Mr. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph. No better call ever, in my opinion. Thank you so much for being here every single night. And you are making a huge difference in our community with SickKids Hospital. The amount of donations that we are seeing in the football frenzy is absolutely insane. Thank you, Leafs fans, and thank you, Insiders. Now let's get back to the hockey. Go, Leafs, go!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Leafs won and the Ottawa Senators won. Third period with 13:11 left to play in it. Myers pass intercepted by Senators. They throw it away. Benoit tries the near side and finds Max Domi. Domi up on the left wing for Nylander. One-handed down into the corner. Nylander after it, takes his man to the boards, but it comes up on the wing for Giroux. And the veteran from Hearst, Ontario, sends it down into the Leaf end. Leafs backpedaling the puck. Both teams getting a change in. Philip Myers sends it ahead. Benoit tried to get it for Pontus Holmberg, who didn't get it in deep. Shabbat is there to regroup it with David Perron. Out at center ice, Matthews comes away with it. Matthews onto the left wing. Brought on by Bobby McMahon. Played down into the corner, now tipped high in the air. Bouncing puck to Matthews, got it in front. But there was a Senator player there to take it to safety, and they'll get it out and down into the Leaf end. Morgan Rielly hustling back. Rielly around into the corner for Jake McCabe. McCabe with a long lead pass, looking in front for Marner. Marner faked the shot, then comes in front, tried to find Matthews and couldn't get it to him. McMahon carries down into the corner. Good play there by the Leafs to take away the long, or take the long pass and get the chance. Marner hustling down the right wing to knock away any kind of an icing, and then couldn't quite find Matthews when he needed it. Matthews around back of the goal, though, coming out in front, drops it back. Oliver Ekman-Larsson around back of the goal. Works to the far boards, back to the point. Matthews holds, fake the shot, still has it. Dropping it back to the point now for Tanev. Tanev had his pass partially blocked, but kept alive by OEL with a shot, and that went high over top of the goal off his stick. Shane Pinto will get it to center for Ottawa. Trying to get it in over the line, ran out of real estate, just punches it in, and the Leafs have it under control in their own zone. Round the boards too far for Robertson, but it's gone all the way down into Ottawa territory without an icing call. Robertson in on the forecheck. Had it knocked away, and he gets it again. He's got a man in front of the net, but goes for the shot. And it goes high off of the blocker of Forsberg. He had Nylander coming down the slot.
But I think this is the right play. Instead of trying to force it through the middle, even though it's a kind of a sharp angle by the time he comes in.
Yeah.
The Ottawa defenseman went right to Nylander and took him away.
Yeah, Nicholas Montempoolo went right to Nylander. You're right. That was the shot to make.
Well, there wasn't much room there. A lot of times you'll see like Austin Matthews have scored a couple that way in the last 10 days or so. Short side, blocker side over the right shoulder, and that's where Robertson tried to go, but Forsberg didn't really give him an inch, did he?
No. Holmberg, Nylander, and Domi out there for Toronto. 10:46 to go in the period. We haven't had a goal since the first period. Now Nylander off a face-off win, couldn't get a shot away. Holmberg in against the boards, dragging it along back of the net for Max Domi. Domi gets it back to the blue line. Wrist shot coming, but it's wide. Riley keeps it in with a shot that was deflected high in the air in front of the net. Comes back to Nylander. Nylander down the right wing boards was tripped up. No call there. He's calling for one, but none happens. They battle for it on the inboards in the Ottawa zone. Holmberg had it pinned up against the wall. Comes around on the wing, kept in by Jake McCabe as the Leafs have exchanged their defense tandem. Crowd chanting, "Go Leafs, go again." Played around the boards for Morgan Riley. Riley down into the corner. Couldn't get a return pass. Left for Nylander and Holmberg, but the puck goes free, and now the Sens, trying to get a change of players, will just launch it down into the Toronto zone.
They used to have had the edge in play really since the end of the first period, but real tough time getting anything clean.
In to center ice, Benoit plays it in on the far boards. McMahon got it back of the net. It comes to Marner on the near half wall with a shot that was blocked. Trying to keep it in, Benoit succeeding in doing so, but trapped back of the net by Travis Hamonic. Hamonic with a long lead pass, trying to spring Amadio. Amadio gets in over the Leaf blue line, trying to get it freed up, and now a centering pass comes in front. It comes to the line, they score! Marner's thinking this is a high stick, but we're going to have to wait and see.
I think the Leafs might have put this in their own net. An absolute nothing play. Thrown to the net from below the goal line. Now the Senators skating to the bench keep looking over their shoulder at the officials.
And they have huddled. We've not seen a replay of it yet. Now we are.
Shane Pinto, I think, was the last Senator to touch it. Puck came. I think this is a high stick that then hits Pinto and goes in.
Yeah.
Marner partially blocks. Maybe not. Looking from the lower angle. I don't
may not be above the crossbar. You're right.
Yeah, I think it's Highmore tries to throw it in front. Marner blocks it. It pops up in the air. Then Highmore knocks it out of the air, but I think this is below the crossbar, and it just hits Pinto and bounces off the near post again and into the net. Now this is going to count. The Ottawa Senators.
I don't think the Leafs are going to challenge this. Mitch Marner initially thought it was a high stick, but
I mean, it was a great play, but then just a fluke after that, and the puck just does land inside the post. Wall goes to his right, it hits Pinto and loops over top of Wall, back off the other post, just inside. And with 9:13 to go, the Senators will have their first lead of the night.
10:47, the time of the goal. The last goal was scored at 10:43 of the first period. And now Nylander has his stick break, so he'll go and get a new one at the bench. Marner looking at the play now, and initially he said that thought it was a high stick.
I mean, he made the right play to block it. The puck just popped up in the air, and Highmore finished off by bunting it across the crease.
So the Leafs trail in the game. Nylander working in on the right side. Got a shot away, and it went wide. And as it comes back off the backboards, it'll be smothered by Forsberg, the goaltender. Pinto is going to be credited with the goal. And it's a strange one. Highmore gets the assist.
Yeah, Pinto had been goalless in 7.
9th of the season. And it is 2-1 Ottawa. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
I don't want to say I'm a big deal, but I am a superhero. I love helping people consolidate their debts, and that's what I did for the Smiths. I took their bills and zoom, wha-bam, zap, turn them into one low monthly payment. No, the sound's not necessary, but it's part of the fun.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
This year, warm up to winter in Ontario, to romantic trips, cozy cabins, warm up to some cool adventure, skiing, ice climbing, skate trails, snowshoeing, chill out by a fire, sipping ice wine, going to a food festival, or a resort. Winter in Ontario. We're warming up to you. Plan it now at destinationontario.com.
Senators 2, the Maple Leafs 1 here in the third period on a fluky goal that just does get over the goal line after hitting the goal post, knocked out of the midair. And Shane Pinto gets a bit of a gift-wrapped tally.
I think Craig Berube shortened the bench, hasn't he? He's pretty much down to 2 lines now.
Sens control the face-off. Stützle plays it off the boards down into the Toronto zone. Ekman-Larsson threw a four-handed shiver there on Ridley Gregg and flattened him. Leafs get it in over the line. Left wing side. Nylander drilled it and right into the chest. Or was that Robertson? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was Nylander. Gave it to Robertson.
Yeah. Nick Robertson with the shot.
So Nylander, little double shift action here. They started the game on a line with Max Domi and Pontus Holmberg, but getting double shifted here on this line as well.
So, 1 goal deficit with 8:40 to go here in the third period.
And here comes the Matthews line again.
Marner and McMahon are with him. Sens control the face-off. Sanderson backhanding it along the boards. McMahon in against the wall, couldn't trap it. Bounces to the blue line and now cleared to center ice by Ottawa. Morgan Riley and his defense partner McCabe get it ahead off Matthews' stick. Matthews getting it in over the line, but bouncing puck wouldn't behave for him. And the Sens get it back out at center ice. Leafs will shoot it right back in again. Round the boards, it comes to the near side. McMahon down the wall to play it back at the net. Played up on the right side. Pinching down on that side is Ekman-Larsson. They play it into the corner. Sens get it free and now look to break it out. And Amadio will get it to center, only to have Toronto take it away again. Leafs trying to get some zone pressure here. Look for the equalizer. Up on the wing for Domi. To the red line. In on the left wing it goes, and hustling in after it is Steven Lorenz. Bit of a third line being put together here by the Leafs. Centering pass, and Pontus Holmberg shot wide. Tanev keeps the puck in. Lorenz in along the boards, getting some assistance. Pushed along into the corner, and Ekman-Larsson pushes it back. Holmberg unable to come up with it. Lorenz does. Lorenz working the boards. Back in for Pontus Holmberg, who got it free. Tried to make a behind the back pass, didn't work. Lorenz has time and space back of the net. Playing it back to the point to Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and a pass slap shot that was off a stick wide. Kept in back of the net for Lorenz. Lorenz working with it, gets it back for Holmberg, trying to come out. Couldn't get the puck to settle down to come to the side of the goal with it. Gives it off to Domi. Back to the point. It comes left wing side. Ekman-Larsson off a stick and wide, and the rebound is going to carry him all the way down into the Toronto zone.
Boy, good push by the Leafs here after Ottawa takes the lead.
Tanev starting back. Played it ahead at center. Drop back for Riley, who gets to the red line before shooting it in. Shabbat playing it around back of the net. The puck comes off a stick and comes to center ice. Shot right back in again by Toronto. 6:23 to play in the third. Down a goal. Puck back of the net. David Camp looking for Robertson. That didn't connect. Brought out by Stützle to center. Stützle in on the left wing for Tkachuk. Tried to make a pass back in for Stützle, and it went by him. Leafs Camp getting it pinned up against the boards in the Toronto zone. Finally poked free, and it is grabbed off by Riley. Riley's pass was blocked. McCabe got it up on the wing, but not out. A centering pass! Great save made by Wall. Where's the puck gone? Into the screen as Shane Pinto was set up perfectly on a quick pass. And a huge save by Joseph Wall. We'd better circle that if the comeback is in store. That right off his shoulder and out of play. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The heartthrobs. And the hair. The bad girls. And the boy bands. Plus guitars. Lots of guitars. Oh, and the original MTV VJs.
Mark Goodman, Nita Blackwood, and myself, Alan Hunter.
If it was big in the 80s, it's on 80s on 8. And listen at home on Alexa, Google Home, smart TVs, and everywhere on the SiriusXM app.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Playing in the Four Nations face-off for Team USA, Connor Hellebuck.
How do you feel about getting a chance to play for USA?
The type of hockey it's going to be fun. There's going to be some high-pressure games. You're going to be putting your country's jersey on. You're representing your country. I think we're going to have a great fan base around us, and I'm really looking forward to what it brings.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. From in the crease to in the locker room.
Four Nations Team Canada face-off associate GM Jim Nill. You as a manager view goaltending going into the tournament in February.
Now we're talking about two of the guys that won Stanley Cups and play in those type of pressure games. That's a pretty good resume to have. So we're pretty confident with it and pretty confident with the team that we're going to have playing in front of them.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Some long road trips coming up for the Maple Leafs. They'll play at home against the Minnesota Wild on Wednesday. And then one home game in the month of February. Played into the league bench area. There'll be a face-off in the neutral zone.
Of course, that includes a 2-week break for the Four Nations Cup.
And it's a short month.
Is it?
It's the shortest month in the year, yes.
Even leap year.
Even in the leap year. It's still the shortest month. Amazing how they managed to figure that out as early as they did in order to have 365 days in the year. And for the life of me, I don't know why.
Would have been an interesting meeting to sit in on.
It was. Sure it was. You know what? Let's make a month short so people that want to maybe take a month off things like alcohol. Here's Riley to center. Sends a long shoot in off a stick, and it's gone high into the screen. Face-off will be out in neutral ice, I believe.
5:15 to go here, so the Leafs. And it's an interesting trend that they've been on of late, where won 5 in a row, lost 3 in a row, won 3 in a row, and now are in danger of losing back-to-back. By the way, Nick Cousins has not played since that collision earlier in the game with Jacob Quillen.
And Jacob Quillen has played very sparingly.
Yeah, 5:21 to this point.
Yeah. Played off the boards and down into Toronto territory. Wall scooping it around back of the net for Riley. Riley got it up on the wing, and now Lorenz gets it to the line and in. A drop pass for Domi. Backhanded into the near corner for McCabe, centering, and that was wide as it comes back to the point. Into the slot area for Lorenz. Left wing side, McCabe looking back for Domi. A shot. Rebound, another shot. Puck in front of the goal. They bang away at it, and it's knocked around back of the net. Leafs pressing here. McCabe, D to D, and down in on the boards for Domi. Back of the net for Pontus Holmberg, coming out in front. They backhand, still free, and it's cleared to the line and out at center ice by Ottawa.
Boy, Leaf had it about 3 feet from the goal line. Nobody could get a stick on it.
Holmberg keeps it alive and plays it in around the boards. Shabbat was able to get it to the line, but Oliver Ekman-Larsson kept it in momentarily, and now the Sens get it down into the Leaf end as it's played down into the corner, and now Camp finds Tanev. Chris Tanev brings it out at center. He'll get to the red line and launch it into the zone. Under 4 minutes to play in the third period, and the Sens with a 2-1 lead. Camp unable to get to it. Played it into the far corner. Shabbat rattles it around on the boards, and despite the efforts of Tanev to knock it down, it comes to center. Now Nylander in across the line, stood up with a hit. Camp into the forecheck, but Shabbat is there, and Shabbat will bank it out at center ice. The Leafs have it again. Riley to his defense partner McCabe. Gets it back again and up on the left wing for Nylander, but a touch pass was intercepted. Brought back in now by Ottawa. From an angle, a shot stopped by Wall. Rebound into the corner with 3:15 to play in the third. Sens have it knocked away. Riley pokes it along the boards for McMahon. And Bobby McMahon to Riley, and now McCabe will stretch things out, allowing the Leafs to get a change completed. Long lead pass. Marner's in across the line. Marner trying to flip it in front of the net for Matthews, and it was knocked off a stick and poked out at center ice. Ekman-Larsson to Tanev, return. OEL comes to center. Long shoot in around the boards. It'll come into the near corner. Senators get there quickly, but the pass goes high in the air. Volleyball, but knocked down by Ottawa. Stolen back by Marner. Center ice, though. He looks to try and get things started going in the right direction. Drops it off for Ekman-Larsson. Over to Marner on the right wing side. Up ahead on the left wing for Lorenz. Lorenz down the boards and into the corner. Rung it around to the far side to try and find Domi. Domi in a maze of legs trying to pry it free. And it's flipped out at center ice and down into the Toronto zone with 2:10 to go. Brought to the line and in by Pontus Holmberg to Lorenz. Poked down into the corner. Lorenz around the boards. It'll be trapped. The Leafs get it back to the point, still with the goaltender in. A centering pass knocked away by Forsberg. Back of the net, trying to get to it. Lorenz, who's lost his stick in the fray. The puck comes up on the wing and is cleared out at center. And it's a good thing the goaltender is still in, as the Sens got it down into the offensive zone. With 1:40 to go, Wall will be heading for the bench. McCabe starts up. He brings it to center. Leafs don't get it into the zone. They drop it back for Nylander. Nylander working back. Sends it off to the far side for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Played ahead, and now Willie gets it in on the left wing, and the goaltender is headed to the bench. I think. Yep. Back to the point it comes. Kept in by OEL. To Marner. Rink wide for Matthews, was out of his reach. Hammered off the boards. It's going to get out at center ice, but Marner has it under control. 1:05 to go in the third. Matthews starts back up ice. Drops for Marner. Marner coming to the red line and now to the blue line and in. Matthews tried to flip it in, and it was blocked. Sent high to the center ice area with 48 seconds left. And a pass goes off a stick and deflects into the crowd with 46.8 seconds to go here in the third period. And the Leafs looking for an equalizer, down 2-1. Couple of good saves by Forsberg's right leg.
Yeah, but it was that. I mean, that's when you had those two guys wide open to his right that couldn't find the loose puck.
Lorenz with a good crack at it. McCabe was in there.
I don't know. Has Berube called a timeout? Yes. First team. Face-off will be outside the Ottawa line, so I imagine Joseph Wall will be halfway between the Leaf bench and his own net. Obviously a big game for the Leafs, trying to stay ahead of the Florida Panthers in first place in the Atlantic Division, but even bigger for the Ottawa Senators. Montreal, last I saw it, come back, and they've tied things up with the New Jersey Devils at 3. Coming into this game, Ottawa tied with the New York Rangers, a point back of the Columbus Blue Jackets, who have the 8th and final playoff spot, and with Tampa losing to Detroit as well. The Red Wings can move to within 2 points of Tampa.
It really has gotten into a logjam, hasn't it? Face off in the neutral zone, controlled by the Leafs. Fed ahead and down into the offensive zone. Forsberg played it into the corner. Leafs get to the puck and play it into the corner off a stick. Knocked back to the blue line and out into the center ice area with 30 seconds to go. Domi has to go back behind his own goal. Last rush, and Domi stumbles but gives it to Morgan Riley. Domi's going to the bench. He's got an equipment issue. And that has killed off a lot of time. Last rush for sure. Intercepted. Brought on now by Nylander. He works in on the left wing. Willie pulls up. Gets it back to the blue line for Riley. Riley to the far side for Marner. Shot coming, blocked, rebound, smothered with 2.4 seconds to go by Anton Forsberg. And that should just about do it.
That'll make it 4 straight wins for the Ottawa Senators over the Leafs. Ottawa still not scoring at a very high rate, but on this night they're going to hold the Leafs, it would appear, to their second game of just scoring a single goal.
So shutout twice in a row and 5 times here in this month.
What's funny is they've been shut out 5 times. The Senators have had 2 shutouts. So 7 out of 11 games they played before this were in shutouts.
And the Leafs are going to get just the one. The draw one, but it is going to come to the near boards, and that'll do it. Ottawa Senators win it by a score of 2-1 on a fluky goal in the third period. That was close to being a high stick, but certainly was not once you got to look at it. But the Maple Leafs fall 2-1, return home to host the Minnesota Wild on Wednesday night. We'll have that action for you beginning at 7 o'clock. Post-game show coming along with Jim Taddy and Anthony Stewart. You've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the SiriusXM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on the SiriusXM app and talk about all the EPL drama on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SiriusXM app. NHL Morning Skate.
I think general managers must sit back in their chairs, Gore, and they must say, okay, if we make a coaching change here, chances are that at least for 10 games, we're more than competitive, and we're probably going to win much more than we lose.
Coaches are probably yelling an expletive, right? About, whatever, how that particular trend is going. So you're right. So far, it's like perfect.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Hockey 24/7 on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
Playing in the Four Nations face-off for Team USA, Connor Hellebuck.
How do you feel about getting a chance to play for USA?
The type of hockey it's going to be fun. There's going to be some high-pressure games. You're going to be putting your country's jersey on. You're representing your country. I think we're going to have a great fan base around us, and I'm really looking forward to what it brings.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Avalanche General Manager Chris McFarland, what went in to maybe change that duo in goal?
With the work of our scout, Wedgwood's experience, he was a veteran guy, he's been through the grind. We were very bullish on McKenzie, and when the opportunity came to add him, we just felt it was the right move for us, long term.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
Devils head coach Sheldon Keefe, you decided to jump right back into it.
New Jersey Devils reached out really within an hour or so of the news coming out of me being let go. And the more I got to know Tom and his vision for the team and seeing the situation, it was a tremendous opportunity that I couldn't let pass by.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Ray Hudson here with an important announcement. You can listen to your favourite Sirius XM FC shows on the all-new Sirius XM app, now available for all subscribers.
This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Ottawa wins it by a score of 2-1. Welcome to Leafs Game Night. Jim Taddy and Anthony Stewart, and Jimmy Ralph kind enough to hang around. And Ralphie, when your game is decided by a play, follow the bouncing puck. That's, they had all kinds of opportunities, but as you like to say, the hockey gods look the other way.
Yeah, you know what? It wasn't a good game. There are a lot of giveaways. Neither team really could make a lot of plays. There weren't a lot of clean looks either way. I think at one time Ottawa had one shot midway through the second period, and it was probably the best chance of the game when Batherson got stopped by Joseph Wall. So, it just seemed like there were a lot of almost good chances. Yeah. But even you go back to the camp, Robertson 2-on-1, a little saucer pass, but it skips on him in a skate, and it seemed like a game that both sides were frustrated most of the night. And let's be honest, it looks like, at the start of the third period, game was going to be ended on an ugly goal, and it certainly was.
Yeah, just looking at that goal, are you allowed to knee the puck into the net there too? And then just, I got to go back over it, but it just seemed like Myers and Benoit were like, F3 and F4 back there too. So what happened on that play specifically?
Yeah, well, it looked like, Marner made the right play on Highmore, which was to get down and try to block the pass across the crease. But it hits the shaft of his stick, bounces up in the air. Then Highmore whacks it out of midair, and I think that's where Mitch Marner thought this is should be called a high stick. But there was one angle that was lower that showed it was clearly below the crossbar. Then the puck goes midair across the Pinto, and I'm not sure where on Pinto it hit. If he might have made a motion with his leg to knock it in, but then off Pinto and then loops back over Wall the other way. That was one of those goals, Stewie, if you were playing the video game, you'd be throwing the controller.
100%.
and it lands on the ice just over the goal line. There couldn't have been any more than a 32nd of an inch.
Yeah, I thought the Leafs were the better team the last 40 minutes. I thought they were lucky to be in the game after the first period, despite the fact they scored first, and it was 1-1 after one. So, one of those games that maybe you deserved a little better fate, but I tell you, it's looking at both lineups, especially the Leaf forward line.
Yeah.
You're looking at that going, wow, this is difficult to try to, to come up with some sort of formula that's going to work for you.
Well, out four key guys at this time of the year is difficult. I know Ottawa has their own story that way, but these guys they're important players, and this deep in the season, maybe if it's October or November, it's a little different, right?
Yeah, maybe it's but you look who's missing for the Leafs. You put it together, that's your second line, really, right? Yeah. If you could throw Nyes, say Pacioretty and John Tavares at the same time. So every team goes through it. And like you said, Linus Ullmark has been out for Ottawa. They've had long stretches of key players being out as well. So nobody feels sorry for you in this league. But I mean, when you started to look at the scratches, you're going, boy, it feels like a preseason game. Look at all the star players are sitting out. That's too bad for the fans, But that's, just probably pretty typical for the midway mark of the regular season or just past.
Yeah, Austin Matthews' line, I think all of them averaged over 20 minutes. I'm looking right now. Matthews, 22:47. Marner, 22:28. Any concern that they're playing a little bit too much? And, they were a little bit quiet. They had some spurts in the third. But is this, 4 or 5 day break going to be helpful for them?
Yeah, and I just think the fact, Stewie, that, they only played the one game they played Monday, Wednesday last week. And then you've got a week where you play one game. And that was tonight. So I think that's probably made the decision a little easier for Craig Berube. You're down a goal. You're chasing the game, especially, after the midway mark of the third period. And it seemed like it was basically down to 3 lines with Willie Nylander being double shifted. And because every time you looked up, you saw Nylander's out with Kampf. He's out with Holmberg. And in between that, you've got the Matthews-Marner combination coming out on a regular basis. So, yeah, it was probably more of a necessity for Craig Berube. I think, obviously you get more key guys back. You can distribute a little easier. And obviously, too, if you've got the lead, you can coach it a little differently.
So Wall in Ottawa can be a scary premise, but he was down and out on a couple of saves, but looked good, right? I mean,
no, I thought he was excellent. Yeah. And even though, it's funny where it says that Wall has never beaten the Ottawa Senators. Well, now that's still going to ring true, but you remember the game that he was hurt in last year in early December, might have been one of his best games in the regular season, where he was absolutely brilliant, gets hurt with about 6 minutes left. The Leafs had a 3-2 lead at the time. Martin Jones came in. Nylander makes it 4-2. Then the Senators scored to make it 4-3, so Martin Jones got the win simply because he was in when Willie Nylander scored the 4th goal that turned out to be the winner. So I thought Joseph Wall was very good. No chance on the Stützle goal. But we talk about the fluke goal in the third period. What about the power play goal? It's a 4-on-3. David Kampf breaks his stick. And we're always saying, look, you're no good without your stick. You might as well go to the bench. Yeah. And he went, and I saw from the one angle, it couldn't have cost them more than 4 seconds. And by the time he gets the stick and back into the play, it's into the net. So, even you look at both Ottawa goals and you're going, they're kind of fluky or favorable moments that Ottawa was able to take advantage of.
Destiny.
Yes. We know in this market there's no resting on your laurels here today, and they came out obviously a little bit flat. Is there a couple guys that you're expecting a little bit more from, or guys that are getting a little bit more of an opportunity to show what they can do? Like, who do you think should have elevated a little bit tonight? I know Austin Matthews' line, they were a little bit flat, but they carried the mail a little bit in the third period. McMahon had 6 shots, but is there anyone in particular like this is their window now to show that they can either be an everyday NHLer or a guy that can maybe slide into the top 6 or maybe on the second line power play?
Yeah, and I will say that I thought Max Domi was very noticeable tonight. Getting in on the forecheck. I don't know if I could pick anyone, Stewie, that I'm saying that Steven Lorentz should have created more. I think he's a role player that plays it very well. I just think with the number of injuries up front, it just exposes the depth down the lineup, and. If you've got McMahon, Robertson, and Max Domi playing together again as your third line, that might be a line you say, boy, that's an opportunity to get going. But they're all mixed up and trying to mix and match. So tough time really coming up with one player that you say you expected more from. But it's that's the opportunity that McMahon had was about a year ago when there were a lot of injuries that he sort of went on a run. And basically made the team this year because of that stretch that he had last season. So if it is somebody, it's somebody that you're not expecting to do it, but at the opportunity. Maybe David Kampf, maybe Pontus Holmberg would be the 2 guys that you thought, you know what? You're getting more ice time, more offensive situations, and you hope there's more production.
So you look back on it and try and figure out the moment that tells you it's going to go this way. And for me, it goes right to the end. That Domi problem with the skate, trying to break out of their own zone with the goalie out is just classic. I mean, that's okay. It's not going to happen tonight.
Yeah. It's, like we said, it was, the first period they were lucky. And then you go, well, there was still, a broken stick on a 4-on-3. I mean, that's just kind of rubbing salt into the wound, isn't it? And then, to have the game end the way it did, it always takes me back to, and I know I've used this a lot, Ron Wilson's line when he was coaching the Leafs, where he said, we can't control whether we win or lose, only how well we play.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. My final question, that road trip's coming up, and it's a very, very tough road trip, probably the hardest one next to probably the LA, San Jose, Anaheim one. So they have, Edmonton, Calgary, Seattle, Vancouver. Do they have to come back 500 before us in this market hit the panic button? What are your thoughts on that going into that Four Nations break? Like, do they need to be in first place? Do they need to be scratching at the door? Or, if they don't come back with a bunch of points here, it could spell a problem going to post Four Nations.
Well, what's funny, Stu? I go back and forth where you look at the standings, you just say, okay, if they played today, they'd get Tampa in the first round. When you're looking at the standings, so they say, okay, if they slip to second, you get Boston. So it's almost, I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I think, yes, you would like to have Game 7 on home ice if that's what it came down to. But you look at just how tight that division is. A team that would scare me to play in the playoffs in the first round would be Columbus.
Yeah.
You look at that and you say, okay, you should win. They shouldn't be here. It should be like Washington and the Rangers last year. And there's that other part of you that says, oh, no, they've got nothing to lose. Yeah. And they'd be a tough matchup. So, and obviously you want to get yourself ready for April. Maybe rest guys down the stretch if you have that kind of luxury. But I think it's so dangerous to start to look and say, boy, this is a more favorable matchup for us.
Ralphie, thanks very much. Appreciate you hanging around.
Thanks, boys.
Okay, Ottawa wins at 2-1. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Jan owns a home and a restaurant fusing French and Mexican cuisine. But she is fusing no more because her ovens have gone kaput. She called Alpine Credits, who sent their speedy superhero. With her business loan approved, her ovens were quickly fixed. The hero even had some of her poutine nachos. Yum! Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
Four Nations face off for the world to see. This February, International Best on Best Hockey is back as NHL stars compete for their country to see which hockey nation will reign.
Star power in abundance.
Canada, Finland, Sweden, USA. Teammates turned rivals, and rivals turned teammates. For country, for glory, Four Nations.
We are set for puck drop.
The Four Nations face-off begins February 12th on Sportsnet.
At BDC, we know being an entrepreneur means always being ready to take on challenges and seize opportunities. Get up to $100,000 with our small business loan to make your projects a reality. Simple, quick, and with no application fees, the BDC online loan offers you flexibility to protect your cash flow with favorable repayment terms. Apply now at bdc.ca/online loan. Certain conditions apply. BDC. Financing, advising, know-how.
Leafs Game Night. Ottawa wins 2-1 over the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I'm going to call it a destiny game, Stu, just because when you go back over the fine points of that game, and there was that crease play with about 2 minutes left where they just couldn't find the handle. I mean, it's like somebody predetermined that Ottawa was going to win that game.
Yeah, it's funny. I was almost going to cue the Globetrotters music where it's just like, everyone fumbling the puck and, no one can really get a handle on it too. But you made a great point just talking about, with the goalie pulled, Domi blowing a tire, not really getting anything done until about the last couple seconds, when they got that final shot tip redirect. Yeah. So just wasn't their night. It was just flat. It's really tough to get anything going. It was a choppy game, flowy, no flow. The ice looked a little bit choppy, and so again, not really, describing the Canadian Tire Center in a positive light, but it was ripe for the taking. So you look at both losses that they've had to Ottawa and the Columbus Blue Jackets. They didn't get outclassed. They almost found ways just to beat themselves or found ways to let the game get away from them, right? And I think it started with the first goal of the game tonight, taking a penalty right after, not really keeping that momentum. So, there wasn't a lot of positives, but again, we go back to the grand scheme of things and saying, hey, yes, they're still currently sitting in first place in the division. They do have a tough road trip up and coming, so let's give them a little bit more equity as again, the positive outweigh the negatives. So it wasn't a great night. I'm sure they're not happy with that performance, but they do have a little bit of a wiggle room where they can have some missteps here and there.
Here is Jake McKay postgame on what made the difference tonight.
That was a pretty evenly matched game, and they got the bounce at the end, and we didn't get that gritty bounce in front of the net like we've been kind of talking about these last couple of games, being harder at our net and harder at their net too.
Is it just one of those situations where both teams were kind of defending hard? That was kind of hard to find the middle of the ice.
Yeah, for sure. I thought in the third period we were coming on and providing some pressure down there, and then like I said, they got the bounce in front of the net, and I thought we defended pretty well for the most part tonight. Waller did another great job, and came up short.
What do you think you guys need to do to generate a little bit more offensively to get to the inside maybe more often?
Shoot our way in, land two at the net. It's pretty simple formula, honestly, when you think about it, and trying to find shooting lanes. Us defensemen got to deliver pucks when we do have those lanes, and not just one forward, but a couple forwards getting there and creating chaos and rebounds and second opportunities.
How do you think Jacob Cohen did in his NHL debut here tonight?
Good, yeah. It's a whirlwind of a day here for your first match, and I know he had a lot of family and friends here, so I know it's a night I'll never forget. So it's always cool when you see a kid live out his dreams. We all remember those days when I remember my first game too. So it's good stuff.
So, I was just looking at the monitor. New Jersey has won 4-3 in Montreal in overtime. Just to sort of back up what we're going to dive into with the standings. Before we get into that, Stu, when I look at the last two games, and certainly tonight with a lot of forwards out with injury, definite lack of finish by the Toronto Maple Leafs the last two games.
Yeah, they really could not get, much going, right? And again, we could tell which group sort of has chemistry and which don't, right? And we're going by the pairs, right? And you can see Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner. But you go through the rest of the lineup, the other pairs pretty much haven't played together at all, right? Robertson and Kemp, for Lorentz, they haven't played much together. Nylander's used to playing with Tavares and Pacioretty, right? So Domi's with Robertson, right? So it was a little bit of a jumble, but it's in today's NHL, your game can't change. And you look at a player like Mitch Marner, he plays the exact same way, whether it's Bobby McMahon on his flank or Matthew Nyes. So again, it's just, it was jumbled. They couldn't get any chemistry, not much going. But again, the one thing is now they go back to Toronto. They have a couple days to practice, get a little bit of chemistry, know sort of where guys are on the ice. But it's going to be a big game versus Minnesota, because now you have 3 losses in a row going on that road trip where you got, the Calgary Flames, who's fighting for a wild card spot, the Edmonton Oilers, who just now are first in the Pacific Division, surpassing the Vegas Golden Knights. That's why I was asking Ralphie, they come back, with 3 or 4 losses there or 500, we're going to be sitting there, they gave up, going into the break, they gave up that division lead. So we'll see tonight how Florida does versus the San Jose Sharks. Puck's about to drop there as well. But again, I'm not too negative on just sort of the overall performance, because they've been consistent for most of the year. There's ups and downs, and again, as William Nylander said, it's no big deal, but we'll see how it pans out Wednesday night.
Okay, so when we come back, we're going to talk about the 5 games that lead them into the Four Nations Cup break. So their last game is 2 weeks tonight. That sends them off into a 2-week hiatus in terms of the league. But of course, a lot of the players will be busy. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
This week on Let's Go with Bill Belichick, Max Crosby, Peter King, and me, Jim Gray. We've got Tom Brady here.
Baltimore had a great season, but it comes to a screeching halt when you don't do some of the things they've done so well all season. That's playoff football.
The Ravens aren't saying, well, we got beat by Buffalo. They really outplayed us. I think they're saying we had some easy opportunities and we just screwed them up.
Listen to the extended version of Let's Go, now available exclusively on the all-new SiriusXM app.
From in the crease to in the locker room.
Four Nations Team Canada face-off associate GM Jim Nill. You as a manager view goaltending going into the tournament in February.
You know, we're talking about 2 of the guys that won Stanley Cups and play in those type of pressure games. That's a pretty good resume to have. So we're pretty confident with it and pretty confident with the team that we're going to have playing in front of them.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. The best hockey lives here.
Martins gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Ray Hudson here with an important announcement. You can listen to your favorite SiriusXM FC shows on the all-new SiriusXM app, now available for all subscribers.
Leafs Game Night. Ottawa wins by a score 2-1. Big night for Jacob Quillen. His NHL debut with the Maple Leafs, played 521, 7 shifts, and survived a knee-on-knee collision with Nick Cousins. Nick did not and was taken off the ice and didn't return. So Quillen with the performance tonight. Here he is on his debut.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool, the whole experience, just spend the whole day with the guys and, taking the rookie lap, getting the first shift there, and but not the outcome we wanted.
What did you see there? Collision with Nick Cousins looked pretty scary there for both of you.
Yeah, I mean, just stuff happens like that. Just got to keep going. Nothing you can do. It's just one of those things that happens, and you just got to move on.
You hopped out onto the ice. You didn't have your bucket on. Was that just you forgot? What happened there?
No, isn't that custom? No, it was cool to do a couple laps with the bucket there. Yeah, it was a good experience, despite the loss.
Your mom was getting interviewed on national TV. How do you think her emotions were tonight watching it?
I mean, probably pretty high. She's been there with me since day one, so I'm just so happy they could come out and watch.
Yeah, and your brother just made it in time, apparently.
Yeah,
he say hi to her?
No, I haven't said hi to him yet. He came out from New York, and he brought his best friend with him too. Had a couple of people that couldn't come though, my girlfriend or family, but glad for the people that could come today.
Did anything surprise you about what it's like to play in the NHL?
Oh, just the pace and how good these guys are with their sticks, and the speed is just next level. So it was definitely a good learning experience. I'll take a lot away from it.
When do you think you kind of settled in? Was it like after the first shift where you just felt like, okay, this is kind of like what I normally do, or does it take a couple to kind of get a feel?
Yeah, I think it took a couple. Just had to get like a hit in or something, get the nerves down. The adrenaline was running high, so yeah, just take it one shift at a time.
Jacob Quillen, his first NHL game. So now, Stu, we enter the weird part of the schedule for the Leafs. Just Wednesday at home to Minnesota. A week today, they're in Edmonton, followed by, they play 4 games basically in 8 nights, and then go into that 2-week break. Kind of fractured, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And if I'm Toronto, I'm sort of upset about the schedule maker, right? They have had a lot of games at home, and, this is not saying it's the group of death, but it's going to be a very, very tough road trip. You see Edmonton playing at a very high level. Same thing with the Calgary Flames, and Seattle's made a push. And, so there's not going to be any easy games. With the easiest might be the Vancouver Canucks, but who knows where they're going to be in 2 weeks with some of the changes that potentially might be going on there. So it's not ideal. But again, what has been the story for this group when they've really been challenged and when they've really been pushed to sort of show what they've been made out of, they've responded. They've responded, right? So, they've had 2-game losing streaks, 3-game losing streaks, and then when it's like, is the fourth one a must win, and what's going to happen if they lose, they find a way to sort of, win, pretty easily handed. So again, whether, regardless of the Minnesota game, they go into Edmonton on February 1st, and they beat the Connor McDavid show. It's going to be positive. So they control their fate. And the one thing you could say, like going back to all of the games, like they haven't been outclassed.
No.
They haven't been like what are they doing? They have no business being in the game. Most of it's them giving away the game, them not executing at key moments, them not capitalizing or keeping momentum, or giving up a goal at an inopportune time. So they control their destiny, and they just got to pay a little bit more attention to the details or find a way to manufacture that energy. You cannot always bring your A game, and that's the key to the NHL. It's raising the level of your B game. And tonight, that was a B- for most of the guys, where you need to find some more guys to have B+ games to get a win against a team, Ottawa Senators, who's fighting for their playoff lives.
Stu, thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
2-1, Ottawa wins over the Leafs. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
You've been listening to NHL Play-by-Play on SiriusXM. Head over to SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, for the best hockey talk.
XM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Saturday, January the 25th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 1 p.m., Boston Bruins take on the Colorado Avalanche. Bruins on SiriusXM channels 91, Internet 921, Avalanche on Internet 926. 4 p.m., Seattle Kraken face the Pittsburgh Penguins. Kraken on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 943. Penguins on Internet 941. 4 p.m., Edmonton Oilers face the Buffalo Sabres. Oilers on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 930. The Sabres on Internet 922. 7 p.m., Columbus Blue Jackets face the LA Kings. Jackets on Sirius 210, XM 221, and Internet 927. Kings on Internet 932. 7 p.m., Minnesota Wild face the Calgary Flames. Wild on XM 223, Internet 933. Flames on Internet 923. 7 p.m., St. Louis Blues face the Dallas Stars. Blues on Sirius 211, XM 222, and Internet 944. Stars on Internet 928. 7 p.m., Detroit Red Wings face the Tampa Bay Lightning. Red Wings on Sirius 209, XM 220, and Internet 929. Lightning on Internet 945. 7 p.m., Ottawa Senators face the Toronto Maple Leafs. Senators on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 939. Leafs on Internet 946. 7 p.m., Montreal Canadiens take on the New Jersey Devils. Canadiens on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 934. Devils on Internet 936. 7:30 p.m., New York Islanders take on the Carolina Hurricanes. Islanders on XM 204, Internet 937. Hurricanes on Internet 924. 10 p.m., Vancouver Canucks face the Washington Capitals. Canucks on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 948. Capitals on Internet 950. 10 p.m., Anaheim Ducks face the Nashville Predators. Ducks on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 920. Predators on Internet 935. 10 p.m., San Jose Sharks face the Florida Panthers. Sharks on Sirius 209, XM 220, and Internet 942. Panthers on Internet 931.
Hear it all on demand. Your favorite shows, your favorite games. Don't miss a second of your favorite SiriusXM programming on demand with the SiriusXM app. Download it now for free.
Iron Mike Keenan, former NHL head coach, came on the morning skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick for SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. That's SiriusXM Channel 91. He was on to promote his new book, Iron Mike, My Life Behind the Bench, and he took some time to talk about his career, specifically the regrets and the influences.
When you get a chance to sit down now and you think back on all these times, any regrets?
Yeah, of course you have regrets. I had the heat turned up quite a bit at my own distraction. So I could have, and I evolved, and even Greg, you just mentioned Greg Gilbert. He said, Mike, you're completely different here in New York than you were in Chicago. So you learn from your own mistakes. And for some reason, I was so driven. I took it personally if we lost, personally. And I was miserable. And I could have probably managed the principles of my coaching career and what I thought was important, that I would always stay intact with those. But the methodology could have been turned down a bit and probably
a little too intense?
A little bit smoother.
A little too intense?
At times, for sure. For sure.
Now, big names, Scotty Bowman, Roger Nielsen, Tom Watt. I mean, I don't know, mentors, friends. How did they all influence Mike Keenan?
Well, first of all, I played for Tom at University of Toronto, and then we developed a close relationship, and I would talk to him a lot about coaching. Now I'm in Peterborough. He'd come and see me, and we developed sort of a minor league team for him, because the guys that couldn't play for U of T right away, like Mike Polino, come out to play with me in Oshawa. And so we developed a relationship that way. But we talked a lot about hockey. He taught me more about hockey than anybody else. And then Roger and I have a relationship through Peterborough. We're getting now into sort of the technical part of video replay and how that. And then I got Scotty Bowman, the greatest ever. He hires me for the first time. Probably saw a little bit of himself in me. And he's calling me in the middle of the night after every game. He drives home from Rochester, and at 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'm not exaggerating, sometimes an hour conversation in the middle of the night. Why did you put Bob Mongrain on the penalty killing at that time? Like, okay, Scotty. But he was just, and he would test me all the time, and I just give him a firm belief in what I thought was right, and he respected that. So it was interesting and then we became friends over the years. It was a real 3 guys that really influenced my career.
That was Iron Mike Keenan, former NHL head coach and author of Iron Mike, My Life Behind the Bench. He was in conversation with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick for the Morning Skate on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. That's SiriusXM Channel 91.
The PGA Tour comes to life on SiriusXM. It's your destination for everything on the tour. Hear live hole-by-hole coverage and expert analysis. PGA Tour Radio, SiriusXM 92.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Saturday, January the 25th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 1 p.m., Boston Bruins take on the Colorado Avalanche. Bruins on SiriusXM channels 91, Internet 921, Avalanche on Internet 926. 4 p.m., Seattle Kraken face the Pittsburgh Penguins. Kraken on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 943. Penguins on Internet 941. 4 p.m., Edmonton Oilers face the Buffalo Sabres. Oilers on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 930. The Sabres on Internet 922. 7 p.m., Columbus Blue Jackets face the LA Kings. Jackets on Sirius 210, XM 221, and Internet 927. Kings on Internet 932. 7 p.m., Minnesota Wild face the Calgary Flames. Wild on XM 223, Internet 933. Flames on Internet 923. 7 p.m., St. Louis Blues face the Dallas Stars. Blues on Sirius 211, XM 222, and Internet 944. Stars on Internet 928. 7 p.m., Detroit Red Wings face the Tampa Bay Lightning. Red Wings on Sirius 209, XM 220, and Internet 929. Lightning on Internet 945. 7 p.m., Ottawa Senators face the Toronto Maple Leafs. Senators on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 939. Leafs on Internet 946. 7 p.m., Montreal Canadiens take on the New Jersey Devils. Canadiens on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 934. Devils on Internet 936. 7:30 p.m., New York Islanders take on the Carolina Hurricanes. Islanders on XM 204, Internet 937. Hurricanes on Internet 924. 10 p.m., Vancouver Canucks face the Washington Capitals. Canucks on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 948. Capitals on Internet 950. 10 p.m., Anaheim Ducks face the Nashville Predators. Ducks on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 920. Predators on Internet 935. 10 p.m., San Jose Sharks face the Florida Panthers. Sharks on Sirius 209, XM 220, and Internet 942. Panthers on Internet 931.
SiriusXM has soccer covered end to end. SiriusXM FC. Hear live play-by-play and talk shows hosted by legends of the game. It's SiriusXM FC on Channel 157.
Former NHL head coach Iron Mike Keenan came on the morning skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick for SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, and he was asked about the long Alexei Kovalev shift during his time in New York, and he shared his side of the story about the skilled offensive talent that was Kovalev.
The Alexei Kovalev shift. I've heard 7 minutes. I've heard 9 minutes. Hey, you stay out there. You kind of figure it out. Describe to us what went into that. How long was a shift? Certainly Kovalev was a talent, that's for sure, but he was a bit of an enigma.
Super talent.
Yes.
And talented people sometimes are elusive. And Alex, I try to explain to him, you're getting 20 minutes. And I don't want the shifts to be 1 minute, so you have 20 shifts. I'm going to give you 40 shifts at 30 seconds so you can build the intensity up. Understand? Yeah, I understand, Mike. Goes out there. Of course, it's a minute and a half. I said, now, Alex, the guy that's supposed to be playing behind you just missed his shift because now we're going to the next rotation. You're out there for 2 rotations. Okay, Michael. So, again, next thing, does it again. So I said, oh, my God. So I said, okay, guys, this time when he comes back to the bench, it's now going to overextend his shift. He's going to be a little tired. Don't open the doors. He comes over and I said, get out. He thinks I love him now. Get back out there, I said. So then he comes over again. And now I said, guys, he's going to want to climb into the bench because he's done. I said, when he comes over, puts his leg up, push him back out. And they pushed him. But now they are laughing on the bench. This is in New York City. Right during the game. Back there. So Alex figures it out. He scores a goal in the middle of this shift.
Wow.
He gets himself a rest. Stays out there. Finishes the period. So I think it's about 9 minutes. I walk off the bench. I said, Mess, explain it to him, will you, please? He said, I will. Don't worry. I'll look after it. So as a result, we fast forward now to the playoffs in Game 6, playing New Jersey. In the Jersey series, I double shifted him. When he had to come back, and he was electrifying. Mess got the 3 goals, but Alex was a horse. And it's very talented, powerful. And the problem was he was so efficient that he could stay out, but he didn't grasp the concept of just picking up the intensity. You could see him. He could dangle and hang onto the puck, and nobody could take it from him. He was resting while he was out there.
So in essence, it was a bit of a training ground for what was to come against the Devils at the most important time.
Exactly.
Wow.
So it turned out to be a good lesson for him because that's what he did in that game. 30 seconds, 40 seconds. I just said, Alex, I'm going to double shift you. Get ready. Don't be out too long.
That was former NHL head coach Iron Mike Keenan in conversation with Gord Stellick and Scott Laughlin for the Morning Skate on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. That's SiriusXM Channel 91.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Saturday, January the 25th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, 1 p.m., Boston Bruins take on the Colorado Avalanche. Bruins on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 921. Avalanche on Internet 926. 4 p.m., Seattle Kraken face the Pittsburgh Penguins. Kraken on Sirius 208 XM 219 and Internet 943. Penguins on Internet 941. 4 p.m., Edmonton Oilers face the Buffalo Sabres. Oilers on Sirius XM channels 91, Internet 930. The Sabres on Internet 922. 7 p.m., Columbus Blue Jackets face the LA Kings. Jackets on Sirius 210 XM 221 and Internet 927. Kings on Internet 932. 7 p.m., Minnesota Wild face the Calgary Flames. Wild on XM 223, Internet 933. Flames on Internet 923. 7 p.m., St. Louis Blues face the Dallas Stars. Blues on Sirius 211 XM 222 and Internet 944. Stars on Internet 928. 7 p.m., Detroit Red Wings face the Tampa Bay Lightning. Red Wings on Sirius 209 XM 220 and Internet 929. Lightning on Internet 945. 7 p.m., Ottawa Senators face the Toronto Maple Leafs. Senators on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 939. Leafs on Internet 946. 7 p.m., Montreal Canadiens take on the New Jersey Devils. Canadiens on Sirius 208 XM 219 and Internet 934. Devils on Internet 936. 7:30 p.m., New York Islanders take on the Carolina Hurricanes. Islanders on XM 204, Internet 937. Hurricanes on Internet 924. 10 p.m., Vancouver Canucks face the Washington Capitals. Canucks on Sirius and XM channels 91, Internet 948. Capitals on Internet 950. 10 p.m., Anaheim Ducks face the Nashville Predators. Ducks on Sirius 208, XM 219 and Internet 920. Predators on Internet 935. 10 p.m., San Jose Sharks face the Florida Panthers. Sharks on Sirius 209, XM 220 and Internet 942. Panthers on Internet 931.
SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio is the place for expert advice, strategy, and information for the best fantasy sports analysis to win your league. Plus, hear pick-by-pick coverage of live drafts and interviews with top players, coaches, and team executives on SiriusXM 87.
Former Buffalo Sabres head coach Don Granato was on the morning skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick for SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91, to talk about how different today's athletes are, as well as what it's been like to watch Austin Matthews grow.
It's really a switch in the last 10 years. The first birth year I had at the national team program was 95 birth year. So it was JT Compher, Tyler Mott, that group. You have them for 2 years, so the next birth year coming in was the 97s, which was prolific. It was Austin